All right, hey everyone. I saw that I'm supposed to start at 8. It's 8 o'clock now. I started just at right before 8. So I see a couple of you guys in here. Mr. Shark, hi. And I will do StreamYard probably for the next one. I know StreamYard will be used at Char's live stream with myself, Mets fans only, Baseball Hut, Jolly Olive, Tony Metro. JBJ wants too much. Did they put out a new report of what he's looking for exactly? Because I think that he might end up costing a little bit much. Looks like there's a few teams that are out to that want him. So it would make sense that he might be looking for more than the Mets want to pay. That I could definitely see that happening. And I think that it should not be top priority if we don't know about the DH quite yet. I think that center field really shouldn't be what they're going after. 60 mil, really? Who said that on Slap? I want to see that report. Wow, that's quite a lot. I mean, how much would he be looking for? 2 years, 3 years at 60 mil? Hi, Mr. Truck. Yeah, 20 mil a year for Jackie Bradley. No way. I mean, I love his center field defense. I would like to see the Mets have good defensive center field, but that is way too much. Jeez Louise. Where did you see that on Slap? Because I haven't seen that report. Wow, that is a lot for Jackie Bradley, no doubt. Congrats. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, this stream is mostly to just thank all you guys like Mr. Shark, like on Slap, Joseph, all you guys. I mean, there's plenty of other people. Bauer, I think, is the way to go. Yeah, I've been saying it for a while. Not a lot of people agree with us on Slap, but I've been saying Bauer for a while. But people who always watch, I know it's like Brandon A, Blue Man. Now, Mets season, I see you a lot in there. Mets fan always say, and where did he see that? Because I've been on Twitter mostly all day, and I didn't. Bauer is a Met. I mean, it might be. The Mets trade makes it look more likely, in my opinion. Definitely. And you know what? Thank you, Nathaniel. I appreciate that. You know, and I think that Bauer, what else are they going to really do with this money? It's just looking more and more with all the moves that they're making, going cheap with Aaron Loop. Do you remember me? I'm Jacob Malkin. Use my idea. Yes, I do. I do. MLB trade rumors. All right, let me see if I can find that. The Jackie Bradley report, because, I mean, I have not seen that yet. But if that's true, that is quite a lot. Let me see. MLB trade rumors. If I can find the Jackie Bradley report. List on the Phillies infield. Marlins get a catcher. I mean, I just want to know about Jackie Bradley. Someone's Mets going to go to the postseason this season. They better, Joseph. I mean, they've made a few moves already. They were close at 19, but they should definitely do it. I'm not seeing this Jackie Bradley report on here at all. Right. I'll have to look for it another time, but thank you for letting me know on stuff. I'll definitely do some more research on that, see if I can find him. Because, again, if that's true, like, first of all, I prefer Bauer over Bradley, but that would just double my point. I mean, especially if there is no DH and you put Don Smith to the bench, I don't think Jackie Bradley's going to get that, though. I have to be honest with you. Like, even though he has multiple suitors, I would be surprised if someone gave Jackie Bradley $60 million over 3 years. I mean, that's way more than I thought he would get. For me, I thought $12 million was as high as I would go. So, I mean, that's just the way I would be approaching it, because there are other moves you can make out there. I mean, obviously, number one would be that Reds move, but we haven't really seen a lot of action with that lately. I mean, other than Tim Ryder's report a couple weeks ago, no other big reports have been talking about it. You know, are the Mets really interested in that Reds trade? Because the salaries are just so appealing. I would love for them to do that. But other than that, I mean, are you going after Chris Bryant, Arenado, maybe some other pitchers? Other than that, I mean, there's $35 million. A lot of the guys that are going to command a pretty good average annual value, they're off the board. So there's got to be some. I could deal with Nimmo, because if no DH, then where's up? I agree. Is seeking $15 million per year on a 4-year deal. I mean, that's too much for me personally. I mean, that's more than I would be looking to give Jackie Bradley. Mets better than Yankees. I mean, we'll see. Not lately, but I mean, it's possible if they could add some more pitching. I mean, that's the thing. Like, what gets you to the World Series is pitching. That's why the Yankees have not been able to go, and why the Mets won in 2015. So that definitely is interesting, no doubt. But I think that Chris Bryant is also very possible, just because, I mean, the Cubs, they want to get rid of him. So can you sub to me? Sure. I mean, I don't see why not. But, yeah, but what do you guys think? Are you in on Chris Bryant? Is it Jackie Bradley? Is it Bauer? Which B would be the top one that you're going for? I'm curious to hear what you guys think would be your top B. Because, I mean, those are the three guys that are really – that they're looking at could cost the most money. I mean, Arenado is on there too, but I feel like I'm not sure the Mets will go after that. We haven't heard anything about that in a while. Mr. Shark, I can't find you. I see this other Mr. Shark that has 9,000 subs. Is that you? And I see another Mr. Shark that has 95,000 subs. Let me know. You don't want Brian? I mean, yeah, his career trends is showing that he's a little bit on the down. Angels out on Bauer. Yeah, I did see that. I talked about that last night. I had that report. I think it's possible because that would be asking the Angels to probably go over the tax, which they are yet to do quite yet. I wouldn't give that to JB, rather Bauer and Almora. Yeah, I think the Mets might be able to get Almora for a pretty solid deal. And he could give you good defense. In the past, he has had good offensive years, but ever since that foul ball incident, Almora has not been the same offensively. So I would be perfectly fine with Bauer and Almora. I mean, even if the Mets do get Bauer, I feel like they still need to get somebody out in center field for defensive purposes. So I definitely would like to see them do that. But again, I really appreciate getting to 1,000 subs. It happened pretty quickly. I mean, the jump from when I got to 100 to 1,000 was a lot quicker than 0 to 100. Not because but because of his contract. On Bryant, trade Familia. Yes, they should definitely trade Familia. Who do you got win the Super Bowl? For me, I'm saying the Chiefs. I just think that Mahomes is too unstoppable and all those weapons. And Brady didn't look too hot down the stretch in that Packers game when he was giving the ball away with those interceptions. So I think if the Chiefs could just put enough pressure on Brady, I think the Chiefs could win that game pretty easily. I mean, the Chiefs, they're just so explosive. 1 year for Bauer. I mean, the 1 year deal on Chris Bryant. If he has a down year, I mean, how much would he be looking for an extension? Like, if he's not good, you let him go. I mean, the fact that the Cubs wanted Alvarez is just crazy. I mean, Francisco Alvarez by Keith Law is ranked as the number 19 prospect in all of baseball right now, which I think is really, really intriguing because I'm high on Alvarez. I'm very excited for him. And the fact that he is developing that well very quickly, I think is a great sign. So there is no way I'm putting him in any trade. I really want to keep Francisco Alvarez. Is the reason why they got James McCann instead of JT Realmuto is because of Alvarez's future and how his contract would line up with Alvarez's timeline. So, I mean, that is on 1 year on Bryant's contract. Yes, I agree on Slap. I mean, that definitely is a problem because the Mets have too many guys they have to extend to begin with, whether it's Lindor or Stroman or Syndergaard. Congrats. Okay, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate your support. I definitely see you in the comments section a lot. But, yeah, they have a lot of guys on expiring deals. So Bryant would just be another guy to add to that. And then depending on how this new CBA comes out, we'll see who they really want to extend or not. Suarez at Bryant at third if they can pull up the trade without giving up too much. Yeah, I agree. I just think that when you look at Suarez's contract, he's making like $11 million a year, and even Sonny Gray is only making $10 million a year. And they're under team control for a while. Like Suarez is for a few more years, and Sonny Gray you have at least 2 more years. So I mean, those contracts are so appealing, and they're not huge salary contracts. Where with the Cubs, Chris Bryant's making $19 million on the last year of his deal. So the Cubs like, we have got to get rid of him. And then with the Rockies, $35 million, and he has a whole lot of years to go. The Rockies don't want to pay that. So they're really in a hurry to get rid of Arenado. Meanwhile, the Reds, I don't think they're in a rush to get rid of either one of those guys. Arenado somehow. I mean, yeah, the Mets have $35 million right now. If they could get Cano's contract in there and probably Familia, it'd make it more possible. Mr. Shark, I tried finding your channel, but I found some other Mr. Sharks. I don't know which one you are. You have to tell me how many subs you have, and then it'll be easier for me to find you. But if you spam, please, your chances of me subbing are getting lower. Who is the team that everyone is sleeping on this season in the MLB? Oof, that's a good one. You know what team I think it is? I think it's the Atlanta Braves because I saw somewhere with the projections, they had the Braves at like 82 wins. And I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to me because the Braves have won the division 3 straight years. They're going to get Mike Soroka back. So I think that the Braves are going to have a really good year again. And I just feel like they don't really get talked about that much at all. So I think the Braves are probably the team that at least the rest of baseball is sleeping on. At least that's just me. I think the White Sox are also very, very exciting. You know, a lot of people have been paying attention to the National League because it looks like that's where the top teams are between the Dodgers and the Padres. And like I talked about the Braves, but I love what the White Sox have done this offseason. And the White Sox have interest in Nelson Cruz. If the White Sox sign Nelson Cruz, they're going to have an insane lineup. I mean, they already have a really good lineup to begin with. You add Nelson Cruz to the White Sox, oh my gosh. The fact that they also added Lance Lynn, already have Giolito, already have Dallas Keuchel. I really like what the Chicago White Sox have been doing so far. You know, but they're a team that I think people are sleeping on because it's just to me. I think the teams that get talked about the most is probably, you know, the Braves, the Mets, the Yankees, Dodgers, Padres. The Blue Jays are starting to get more buzz now with all the moves they've made. But I just think that, you know, those two teams, I would say the Braves and the White Sox, are not being talked about enough, in my opinion. I think that to continue with the White Sox, Father Time has been good to him. Yeah, I mean, yes, Arenado is aging very well. Arenado is still the best third baseman in all of baseball, especially defensively. He still has good power. White Sox have too many swing and miss players in their lineup. I mean, Tim Anderson, he's a guy that can win a batting title. I mean, Jose Abreu is another guy that hits for over 300 average. So, I mean, those guys can get it done. I think Luis Robert is capable of more. He was only a rookie, but that's fair. I mean, they do have some high strikeout guys that can swing and miss like Jimenez and Mancada. Oh, no, I meant Cruz. Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about Arenado because that was your last comment. Yeah, Nelson Cruz has aged so well. I mean, very few players could age as well as Nelson Cruz. Do you think Bauer will win another Cy Young award in his career? I don't think so if it's in the National League. I feel like DeGrom is better than Bauer. And I just think that for the 2-month season, I think that eventually the same competition, DeGrom would have been better than Bauer. If you can't flip Familia like the match trade, would you flip him on another high contract and business player need, Ian Desmond or something like that? I saw that. I'm pretty sure Joel Sherman reported that about Familia and Desmond, but no, I would just rather do what the Yankees did with Adam Ottavino, where you attach a lower level prospect to Familia to trade him and then use that money for a player that is like you're more sought after in the free agency, whether that's Jackie Bradley or Bauer or Chris Bryant, Arenado, whoever. I'd be more willing to do that. Braves like the media because the South, I'm afraid the Braves were winning through the whole 90s, but TBS is why they were known. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, the Braves definitely don't get enough attention. They're not on national TV enough. How far are the Mets going this season? As of right now, I have the Mets, like, if they're healthy and Syndergaard is pretty good, Stroman's pretty good. I would say the second round, I think with Bauer, they could get to the NLCS and then anything is possible. Because once you have the pitching and the Mets lineup is healthy, you have a chance in any series. Like, when the Mets went to the World Series in 2015, I didn't even think they'd win the first round. And then I didn't think they'd win the second round. And then all of a sudden, they were in the World Series. So, I mean, I didn't see something like that happening. If you put Darvish and Bauer's stats side by side, I think he got snubbed. Yeah, I think that one of the things was that Bauer was so vocal. Why are you getting dislikes so quick? This is such a great stream. I don't even see the dislikes, so I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm here to thank people for 1K. And when I see people come in and comment, I'll say thank you. And there are a lot of people that would like to thank you, but I mean, whatever. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't. I mean, people are pretty mean on the internet, so it's something that I'm getting used to, and it happens. So I'm just trying to be the best I can. But I just think that since Bauer was so vocal on social media and stuff like that, like he got more attention than Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish is a really, really quiet player. So, I mean, I guess that's why he didn't get the attention. Ben Harris's 200. That's what's up, Minecraft Demigod. I appreciate that. 200 to 1,000. It happened pretty quickly. Obviously, not as quickly as some other people. But, I mean, whatever. As long as the channel's growing, I'm happy. I really can't be mad about it. But, I mean, the fact that Darvish is with the Padres now, and the Padres, they're going to continue to get better once Clevenger comes back, and then they already got Blake Snell. They added Joe Musgrove. They have Danielson Lamet. Is Chris Paddock going to bounce back? I mean, that's quite the rotation that the Padres have. Adding Yu Darvish was a nice move, no doubt. I'm Jacob Malkin. We used to talk on your old videos in the comments. Oh, I got you, Jacob. All right, that's awesome. Yeah, so, I mean, I appreciate all the people. I mean, Peter, I see comment a lot. Frankie, I see comment a lot. Brandon A, I see comment a lot. Michael Heller, I see comment a lot. I'm just trying to think who else I see. Mountain Fisher, I see you comment a lot. So I'm just trying. John, I've seen you in the comments lately. So I'm trying. Matthew, I've seen you in the comments. Would you rather have Springer than Bauer? I'd rather have Bauer because after getting Lindor, I felt that Bauer's a bigger need than Springer. And since Springer's off the board, I don't really have a choice. Like Bauer's the only option between the two. So I just prefer Bauer. I mean, Springer's really good and is a safer pick. It's less risky. But I think that for the Mets in particular, what they need, I think that Bauer would be the bigger guy for me. Amazing job, man. Keep going. God bless. Thank you, Oscar. I really appreciate that. That's what's up, man. God bless to you as well. I really appreciate all you guys joining on the stream, talking about all this fun stuff. We could talk. I don't know why the screen just went all green, but we can talk about the Mets. We can talk about football, basketball. We can talk about anything MLB, life, stock market, with what's going on with Cohen. I mean, I can't believe how much attention that's getting. Thank you, one, the best I could. But yes, I know, Asab, you've been here for a very long time. I really appreciate that, and I see in the comments a lot. So I'm very glad that you're able to join me for the stream. And to the people who are watching later on, like not right now, thank you as well. I know that there's plenty of people who watch and subscribe and all that stuff and are not in the comment section. So I don't see your names, and you watch in silence, which is fine. I appreciate you too, and I thank you as well. So what else we got, guys? What do you think about what's going on with the Mets? I mean, how do you feel about the match trade? Imagine the content between Lindor and Bauer. Yeah, I mean, people said that my content isn't good enough. So, I mean, that would definitely give me more content to work with, even though there's so many – I don't know why the screen keeps changing like that. Even though there's so many people against bringing in Trevor Bauer, which I understand because you want to keep your young core. But the thing that I don't want to see happen is that, like, if the Mets re-sign, could Ford or re-sign Syndergaard, I don't want to see them end up like the Yankees where they get far, but they don't get all the way. Like, they can't make that one extra move because they have so much money tied up to the team. I got to change that real quick, guys. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Let me fix that. Because this TV is changing way too much. I don't know why the TV's bugging out like that. I got to change the background. All right, hopefully that makes it a little better. All right. Do you think the Mets will go far in the postseason? If Stroman and Syndergaard are like pretty reliable, then yes. I mean, that's what's going to determine everything. Like if the Mets got to the postseason, that tells me that their pitching was good. So once the Mets are in the postseason, I always feel like they have a chance. So I definitely think that the Mets could go far in the postseason. All right, I think I'm going to have to turn the bright lights on. I think Tyreek Hill is overrated. The only thing he really has is speed and can catch the football. But honestly, when you have Mahomes, that's all you really need. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he could be overrated, but he puts up numbers. I think people overreact the whole stock market thing with Cohen, Robinhood CEO, and said the hedge fund people like Cohen had no involvement. Yeah, honestly, like I can't believe how big of a story that has been. Let me turn on these lights real quick so that screen stops going green. 1 second, guys. Hold on. Let me turn these bright lights on and blind myself. There goes a light. Okay. All right. I wanted to try it without these lights, but I don't want the screen going green on that because these lights hurt my eyes, but whatever. Okay. Would you want to sign one of the top relievers that are going to miss most of the year because they're coming from the Tommy John, like Ozuna Jazz, if trading for one deadline? Just a thought. If you sign him to a 2-year deal, I don't mind it. Like Ozuna or Jazz, they definitely could help out this team. I really want the Mets to do more for the bullpen since they didn't get Brad Hand. So I wouldn't mind taking a chance on one of those guys if it's a 2-year deal. But even for this year, I feel like the Mets still should do something for the bullpen. Hopefully, the Mets sign Bauer pretty soon. Best rotation in the game. If everybody's their best capable self that they've been in the past, they could have the best rotation. Chiefs or Bucks? I say the Chiefs. I just think Mahomes is too good, and I think they could put the pressure on Brady to really mess up. Met Zone, thank you, man. I appreciate that. If the Mets did a trade, what would it be? I think it's Chris Bryant. I just think he makes the most sense. I want the Reds trade. Like, I know I talk about Bauer, but I really, really want the Reds trade. The only thing is that, like, we haven't heard a lot about it lately, and I know the Reds are asking for a lot. So I feel like the Cubs, they're in a situation where they're trying to get rid of Bryant, so the Mets could take him on. And Sandy doesn't love JD. Like, I'm willing to give JD a shot. I'm willing to give Luis Guillorme a shot. I'm perfectly fine with that. But it looks like Sandy doesn't love JD. DeGrom will post a sub-2 ERA. He did boost his Ks. That's very encouraging. I think he could too. Like, I think if you give Jacob DeGrom more time as the season progresses, his just overall consistency will just keep decreasing his ERA as the season progresses. He'll just finish the year with a really good ERA compared to other pitchers that are inconsistent. Their ERAs will go up. What basketball team do you like? I root for the Knicks and the Nets. I like the thing is that if I look at the two rosters, I like the Nets better, but I do want to see the Knicks win because the Knicks have not won in so long. Your thoughts are Cohen's getting too much attention because nobody would care before he owned the Mets? Oh, yeah, on slap, no doubt. What I don't get is that, like, so many Met fans are pretty hard on Steve Cohen. I just don't understand why that is. Like, people have been all on about the GameStop and things like that. Cohen said he's going to trade DeGrom to the Yankees. Where did you see that, Kimmy? Thank you, by the way, because I see you a lot in the comment section. How far would the Brooklyn Nets go? What's very interesting about Brooklyn is that if somehow they can get Andre Drummond, Nets are going to the finals. Like, the Nets need another big guy for more defense. So I really want to see him get Andre Drummond. My top 5 teams right now, Dodgers, Padres, Braves, White Sox, Yankees. Those are my top 5 teams. Twitter. Did Cohen say that on Twitter? I'll check that out. Do I think DeGrom is best pitcher in the league? Yes, I think it's actually pretty easily too. When we look at the limited run support he gets and how consistent he is, I definitely think that DeGrom is best. I was first last season when top 5 was playing over Guillorme and the Mets got Frazier. Matthew, I completely agree. I was saying that constantly. It made no sense. Why didn't we share rank with Cole and DeGrom? I mean, I don't know. I guess the analytics. But the thing about Todd Frazier was that, like, Guillorme had a 300 average, 400 average. Todd Frazier comes in and he plays over him. What's your next subscriber goal? I guess 2,000. He'll hit 1,000. I guess we can go for 2. So haven't heard much talk of how KD missed that shot again. John, that's going to happen. Like, both KD and Kyrie, they're both going to miss these shots time and time. But I think that, you know what, eventually, like, they'll fall. And I think that having better defense is what's going to matter because what's happening is that Brooklyn is in too many close games because they're giving up 130, 140 points way too frequently. So they need more defense. They need Andre Drummond. Where do the Mets rotation rank in the NL? That's a good question. I would say that as of right now, the Mets rotation ranks 4th because Syndergaard is hurt behind the Padres, Dodgers, and Braves. Not necessarily in that order, but I think the Mets right now are 4th. If they get Bauer and everyone is their best, I think the Mets could be number 1. Who's going to be in the Mets? Think you said tomorrow? Oh, okay. Yes. That is going to be myself, Mets fans only, Baseball Hut, Jolly Olive, iTalk Studios, and Tony Metro. All of us in a live stream tomorrow at 7. I hope I can get on here. I don't know how to share a screen. So I might not be able to get on my channel. I know it will be on Mets fans, but I'm trying to see if there's a way I could do it. I could share the live stream, but I don't see any feature that says share screen. So, I mean, if I can't share the screen, I don't think I'll be able to get the stream on here, which is really unfortunate. Who do I think will win the World Series and NBA championship? I mean, as of right now, I still think Dodgers and NBA. I still think Lakers. I know it's the favorites, but I think they're good. I love Guillaume Promise and another left-hand bat in the lineup. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. The Mets have a lot of lefties already. So, I mean, Guillaume, but the thing is that, like, for me, Omar, if Guillaume gives me 300 average, 400 average again, I don't mind. You know, like, as long as the guy's hitting well, I'm okay whether they're lefty or righty. Do you like Shredder? And Ryu ranked him pretty high last 2 years. I mean, I don't really look at the Shredder too much. I just look at, like, does the guy pitch well? Does he have a good ERA? Does he win games? Does he go deep into games? That's the stuff I like. Is he healthy? Is he reliable? That's the stuff I like. I don't really care about the Shredder. 2019 was Bauer's best year. 2019 was as good, but he pitches most of his 19 between two teams. Are you scared on Bowser's usual 4 ERA? I mean, I'm not like scared per se. I'm aware that it could happen. And if it does happen, I'm willing to say I was wrong. But I just think that it's worth taking a risk. That's just me. I mean, I don't know. I want to see the Mets win. I'm probably not being smart about it, but I just want to see the Mets win. Who is the greatest MLB player ever? For me, I would have to say Willie Mays. I just think that Willie Mays was good in the field, good with the bat, good with speed. I just think Willie Mays was a really good overall player. Do you think Mookie Betts has any possibility to surpass Trout as the best MLB player? It's going to be tough because Trout puts up such insane numbers so consistently. I mean, Mookie's average it kind of fluctuates a little bit. So, I mean, I love Mookie. He is so good, but I don't know if he passes Trout. Can you make a video about your NFL offseason predictions? Ooh, that would be a tough one. Maybe, Joseph. I guess I could. It just thinks that, like, if I know that if I do a football video, if I do a basketball video, the views on it will not be very good at all, and then it just hurts the channel. So I don't know. I mean, like, I've considered making a second channel to really talk about other stuff because I want to talk about other stuff, but I also want to make the channel grow. And I know what makes the channel grow is the Mets and MLB. So we'll see, Joseph. I would like to do it, though, but we will see. I mean, we'll see how this channel does by the time NFL offseason rolls around. I mean, maybe. We'll see how it goes. All right, anything else? But yeah, with Bauer, I mean, I'm just willing to take the risk. I just want to see the Mets win a World Series. Like, the Mets have gone to it. I just want to see them win one. And I think that when you get Bauer, like, the Mets need more pitching. He's the best pitcher out there. And then what I think is something that we should not take lightly is the fact that Bauer wants to be a Met, because Brad Hand didn't want to be a Met. And if there are other starting pitchers out there in the next couple of years, if they don't want to be Mets, it doesn't matter. How do I like Ryu? Are you talking about Jun Ryu? I mean, Ryu, he's pretty good, but he's also inconsistent. Like, Ryu could be a dominant, as you know, he'll have his stretches where, like, he looked like he should have been the Cy Young winner a couple of years ago, but then he, you know, as the season progressed, he wasn't as good. DeGrom was better. Ryu, I mean, he just also has some injury problems every now and then, but I don't know. I think DeGrom and Cole are better. I think they're more consistent than Hunter and Ryu. Who is the best player in baseball? Mike Trout. Who's the best in NFL? I would say that would be Patrick Mahomes. And then in basketball, I mean, it's between LeBron and AD, honestly. I think streams like these are best instead of a second channel. Oh, you mean just to talk about the other sports? I mean, yeah, we could do that. We could just talk about other sports stuff in streams. I agree with that, John. That's definitely fair, because I like talking about the other sports. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I love the Mets and all that, but I do like talking about stuff other than the Mets. But, you know, I'm just trying to do what you guys like and what's going to make the channel grow, because ultimately I want to make the channel grow. So sometimes it's not about what I want. It's about what you guys want. And that's just something that has changed lately ever since the channel really started growing, because I've had this channel since June of 2019 where I was talking about everything, and the Mets stuff did the best. And then once Cohen took over, the channel blew up. So I've just been sticking with stuff that's been working. Imagine the Mets starting a series on place with DeGrom and Bauer. Matthew, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a pretty tough 1-2 combination. And if Stroman is his best self and Syndergaard is his best self and Carrasco, I mean, I think that'd be quite the rotation. Whiteshot, he never makes playoffs like Springer and Mookie Moore. That's not Trout's fault, though, because Trout could, like, having 1,000 batting average, hit 500 home runs, and it wouldn't matter because, number one, he can get intentionally walked. The rest of the Angels don't do it, and then the pitching just gives up so many runs that it doesn't matter how much Trout does. The pitchers give up so many runs that the Angels still lose. Do I have any Mets autographs or collectibles? The only autograph I have is Jerry Koosman, because one time I went to a game at Shea, and Jerry Koosman was there. You can meet him. Bobbleheads and gnomes I do have. Let me see if I could grab a few for you guys. I do have them over here. So my favorite bobblehead, I would say, would be this. Okay. Would be this Endy Chavez one when he made the game-winning catch. I got this one in a Shea Stadium game where they were giving out the Endy Chavez catch they made in the playoffs in the NLCS. So that one's one of my favorites. I also have a Paul LaDuca one that I got at another Shea Stadium game. So this is my Paul LaDuca one. This was also at a Shea Stadium game. So, and then the other one I had that I got at Citi Field, which one day my friend knocked into and broke, and that one probably just broke, is this Jacob deGrom gnome. This was also a one at Citi Field. So those are my main collectibles, I would say, for the Mets. All right, so let's get back to the chat. Okay. Will Trout ever make it out of the Angels? Unless he asks for a trade, no, because he has, just a crazy contract, so we'll see. It all depends on if the Angels want to get rid of him. Can you do a collab with Wardy and Giraffe Neck Mark? A few people have suggested I should work with Wardy. It's up to him. If he says yes, then I will do it. Mark, again, ask him. And yes, I don't want to bother people if they're not interested. I don't know if Wardy is. He might not be. I really don't know. I feel like Trout is stuck in Angels prison. He can't escape. Yeah, that's true. Trout, not Grout. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got you. Sweeps all day long in playoffs like the Rockies. Yeah. Beal deserves to be traded. Yes, I completely agree. I feel very bad for Bradley Beal, and I wish that the Nets had taken a chance on him instead of Harden. I feel like Bradley Beal would have been a much better fit just because he's more of a knockdown shooter. And Harden, he's just more of a ball-dominant guy. I feel like Beal could work well off of the ball, and I just think his ego is not quite as big as Harden, and I think his style would work better with Kyrie compared to Harden. But Bradley Beal definitely deserves to be traded. Who's going to trade for him? We'll see. But I would like to see Beal get away from the Wizards because he'll put up ridiculous numbers and the Wizards still lose. So it definitely has been unfortunate for Bradley Beal in Washington. The Westbrook pairing is not working out, and Westbrook is hurt, so he's on the decline. But, Mike Trout, he has such a ridiculous contract now, and do the Angels really want to get rid of him? It's hard to, trade the best player in all of baseball. So I imagine that the Angels would want to hang on to him. But that would just be me. I think the Angels, they should be in on Bauer. They have to do something because how much longer could they have Mike Trout in his prime? Eventually, Trout's going to get older, and the Angels just haven't really been in the playoffs with him. So I feel like that's been such a disappointment for the Angels. It's really crazy. And it boggles my mind that so far this offseason, Jose Quintana, Raisel Iglesias, that's it. Beal is the best scorer in the NBA. You agree? No, I think that Harden's probably a little better. I think that Durant in his best day is a little better. Would you be interested in a Brandon Nimmo autograph? He had hooked me up with a ton. Oh, yes. Brandon Nimmo is actually my second favorite player on the Mets. I would love a Brandon Nimmo autograph. I think Pujols is hindering them too much. Yes, that's definitely been a problem. The Albert Pujols experiment did not work with the Angels at all. He's on after 30, and all of his years, he's not been nearly as good. And then the other thing that hurt them, John, was when they signed Josh Hamilton to a ridiculous contract. That didn't work out. I like Rendon, but we'll see how that contract pays off. So they have a lot of money tied up to some players. And the thing is that none of them are pitchers. And that's what the Angels need is pitching. And if they're out on Bauer, that's a big-time problem. If they got Odorizzi or Pax or all these guys, it's not enough. Pujols needs to retire. He's not going to retire until the contract's over. The Angels aren't in on him now. The Jays and Dodgers are watching. Yeah, Mark Shapiro, the Jays general manager, said, or the president said that it looks like the Blue Jays aren't going to do any more big-time spending. And then for the Dodgers, the Dodgers are really close to the tax. So I think that if that's the case, the Mets should really outbid the Dodgers because they're in the same league. And if Bauer went to the Dodgers and he's anywhere close to what he's capable of, the Mets have no chance. The Yankees are meant to play a 162-game series, not a 3-game series. Yeah, that's very true. During the course of a season, the Yankees will have a great year. They probably will win 100 games. But when it comes to a series, if all of a sudden their bats go cold, then, they just get eliminated. That's happened way too many years in the past for the Yankees. It just keeps happening every single year. We'll see how these guys do. I'm next to Yankee Stadium, and I covered my window. That's funny on Slap. I didn't know you're in the Bronx. But that's cool, though. If you ever wanted to go to a Yankee Mets game, it's not far. That's one of the things, if the cost wasn't so much to go to Citi Field, I would go more. Being on the island, it costs a good amount to get there and then also pay for the tickets. Then if I'm hungry, that costs some more money. So, I just can't afford to go to Citi Field all that often. That's what kind of stinks. Steamer doesn't like Bauer at all. Projects him at 4-4. Zips projects him at 360. Okay. I mean, listen, projections also say that the Braves aren't supposed to be good and the Mets are supposed to be amazing and stuff like that doesn't happen. So, I mean, they could project what Bauer is, but let's just say that like Bauer had a bad 2021. Bauer could have a really good 2022. I mean, he's had bad years, good years. So at least eventually you can get a good year at Bauer. I got tons of autograph cards I'd be down to send you. He signs a ton. Listen, Andrew, I'm all for it. Please send me some Brandon Nimmo cards. We'll get in touch, and I will definitely take any Brandon Nimmo autographed card. Why are Dodgers so good? Can't Mets be that good? The thing about the Dodgers is that they have so much young core, like with Walker Buehler and Dustin May and Cody Bellinger and Gavin Lux and Corey Seager. Do you like the idea of an Arenado trade? It depends who the Mets are giving up, but in theory, like if they were to not get Bauer, I'd be perfectly fine with bringing Arenado in. I mean, he's the best third baseman in all of baseball. And when you look at offense, the Mets have a arguable top 10 player at every single position besides third base. So I'm all for it. Urias, yes, that's not going. I mean, the Dodgers have a ton of homegrown guys. Kenley Jansen, another one. He's been in their bullpen forever. But, I mean, Will Smith behind the plate, Max Muncy. I mean, there are a lot of guys that the Dodgers have that are homegrown, which the Mets, I mean, like they're starting to get that a little bit with some of the guys they have. But the Dodgers are always the team that's willing to go to that next step, which they haven't done. Will the Red Sox have another curse? I don't think so. I mean, the Red Sox have won 3 World Series in the 2000s. So, I mean, I think it'd be a while before they have a curse because if you have 3 World Series 2000s, I would love that. So I think the Red Sox will be fine. They'll do some smart things eventually. Right now, they're cutting back. Would I do Beatty, Davis, and Mauricio for Arenado? I would have to take out one of them, whether it be Beatty or Mauricio. I don't love giving up both of them. When do you think the Dodgers become a below-average team? It's probably going to be for a while because, I mean, just the way that they've been spending money and how young their core is, I feel like the Dodgers are going to be good for a while. I mean, like, if they're actually in on Trevor Bauer, that shows you that the Dodgers will continue to be competitive. So I think that the Dodgers will be good for a while, no doubt. Your perspective on the Hall of Fame ballot of this year, it's unfortunate because, like, the players that are on there, they have Hall of Fame type numbers, but because of their politics or because of steroids or allegations, or domestic violence in Omar Vizquel's case, those guys didn't make it. So I think it's really disappointing because a few of those guys are Hall of Famers with their numbers. MLB had Arenado ranked as the 3rd best third baseman in baseball. What? Yeah, I don't agree with that, Elijah. I think Arenado is the best in the league. Who are like your top 5 favorite players on the Mets right now? I would say Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, DeGrom, Lugo, and if I had to pick a 5th guy, Lindor, because they have Lindor now. Do you think the Nationals have a good? I think the Nationals will actually have a very good year. So I think that the Nationals, I mean, the fact that they won the World Series in 2018 or 2019, whatever it won 2019, I mean, they still have most of their core together as far as starting pitching. They added John Lester. So they still have Trey Turner, still have Juan Soto. I mean, we'll see what Carter Kieboom could do. I think the Nationals are still going to be very, very good. So I think the Nationals will have a good year. And that's why it's going to be tough for the Mets because the Marlins are going to be good again. The Phillies will still be pretty competitive. So the Mets are going to have a tough time. I mean, if there is not expanded playoffs, Mets have to hope that they're able to make that wild card because their division is going to be tough. And then the Padres will have a wild card. It's weird Harper left and they won. Yeah, I agree, Louis. That definitely is very strange because Bryce Harper is definitely one of the better players out there. I have an Alonso autograph I got in spring training. That's awesome. I mean, I definitely like if there was no COVID going on, I would definitely be like on my way to Florida, ready for spring training, doing videos there, trying to get autographs there. So, I mean, hopefully next year, if everything is normal, I definitely will be at spring training as much as I can. Hopefully I get some autographs while I'm there on Slap. That would definitely be cool. And maybe run to some of you guys if you guys go to spring training. So that would definitely be a lot of fun. But Louis, you're the one that's been in the comments a lot lately. Elijah, you've been in the comments lately. Michael, you've been in the comments a lot lately. So this is a thank you for 1K. Thank you, everyone. Why is this the greatest stream ever? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm having fun. So I appreciate that, Joseph. Okay, it's not the greatest stream ever. I mean, whatever. I'll take the compliment. I mean, because there are a lot of people on here that do not give me compliments. So I will take any comment I can get. Bauer really hasn't had a terrible year. His strikeout rate is over 10 per 9 last 4 years, and walk rate is 9% lifetime. Yeah, I mean, Mountain, if you don't want Bauer, it's fine. Like, I mean, there are people that just don't want Bauer and that's fine. Like, if you guys don't want to take the risk, all right. I mean, I do. So, I mean, I understand there's a lot of people that don't want Trevor Bauer. It probably is smarter to not get him and, re-sign your guys and try to see what other moves you can make. But I don't know. I'm just desperate. That's probably what it is. I'm just desperate to see the Mets win, and I feel that Bauer is the risk they could take to really take them to the next level. I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as a fan. I'm not thinking long term. I just want to see a World Series in my lifetime, winning a World Series. That's just me. But I mean, you could give me the analytics and the numbers with Bauer, but all I know is that he was really good this year. He was good in 2018, and if you don't like his 2020 season, just look how he was in the playoffs against the Braves. That's what sold me on Bauer, because I was on the fence. I was willing to say 2-month season, no fans, NL Central. But then when I saw him in the Braves, I was like, well, against the Braves, I was like, wow, Bauer is who I want. I want to see his vlogs. Yeah, I want to make them. I definitely want to make vlogs also at other stadiums, like at Citi Field, at away stadiums. That'd be fun. Imagine the Jays magically gone. They would be favorites to win the division. Yeah, I mean, that's what the Blue Jays need. They need a little more pitching in order to compete with the Yankees, because the lineup is looking really good right now. Lindor's whole personality will really shine in big market Mets. I completely agree, Matthew. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he will be willing to take a contract extension. I got you with Lugo and Nemo, two of the best Mets that time. What's your Twitter or Insta? My Twitter, I usually put it in the description of every video, but it's Frank D. Cagino, Caggino. So, Andrew, if you could hook me up with any kind of autographs, I definitely would love that. So, thank you so much, Andrew. But, yeah, I agree with – I think Lindor is going to do really well as a Met. I hope Lindor won't have a bad year. I don't think he will. I used to watch the Mets with my grandfather all the time. The 80s, I went over his house to watch all these games. That is great. Are you kidding me? I wish I could have seen the Mets in the 80s. Is Jason Tatum overrated or underrated? I actually think that Jason Tatum is a little underrated. I feel like Tatum is really good, and he's pretty consistent. So I think Jason Tatum doesn't get enough love. Omar Vizquel is really sad. We Venezuelans had a high since induction. It's really disappointing what's happening with him. I think that the problem with Omar Vizquel, what I really don't like, is that when you look at his resume and Ozzie Smith's resume, like, they're very, very comparable. But because Ozzie Smith was Ozzie and he did his backflips and was just much more popular, he got to the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, Vizquel was much more under the radar, so he has not. But I definitely think that, domestic violence aside, Omar Vizquel deserves to be a Hall of Famer based off of Ozzie Smith. So I feel like if Ozzie Smith's a Hall of Famer, Omar Vizquel is. That's why I really liked Bauer dominating the Braves. We really need to get the Braves to win the division. Seems like year after year they dominate. It takes me up. I agree, Omar. That is the Mets' main competition, is the Atlanta Braves. They're the team that, like you said, is winning the division every year, and the Mets struggle when they play them. Pete Rose needs to be unbanned. Yes, I completely agree. I mean, listen, with the thing about sports, gambling and stuff like that being legal now, I'm sure there are probably players betting on their teams. So I think Pete Rose should be unbanned. Rockies are pretty desperate to get rid of Arenado because they need the cap space. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But someone who I can't remember exactly who commented right now, but someone said, I think it was Samuel. He's another guy I want to thank because he's in my comments a lot. But he said that he believes Arenado will opt out of his deal to sign with the Dodgers because he's from California and wants to be a Dodger. Do I think Atlanta will stop choking leads? Probably eventually. I mean, their core is so good, they have to get in there eventually. Do I have a least favorite team? Probably the Braves, just because they're so good and they always beat the Mets. I would say the Braves are probably my least favorite team. I just can't stand them. Acuna is so good, and Freeman and Albies and those guys. I just hate playing the Braves. And that's another thing I was thinking of doing. I'm not sure if you guys were hearing the Brad Hand stream, but I want to do some play-by-play live streams, like play-by-play reaction, while a Mets game is going on, talk about it with you guys, react to it with you guys. Bonds is a Hall of Famer. I think that Barry Bonds, before the Stars, probably was a Hall of Famer anyway, so I agree. I wouldn't have a problem with Bonds. And I hear you, Joseph. The Falcons aren't going to stop blowing leads. John Hammond says Mets offered Bauer 4 years, 34 about. I feel like that's a really good deal. Like, I mean, one thing I was thinking about, guys, is that let's just say that the Angels are indeed out on Bauer. It's down to the Mets and it's down to the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not – I don't think they're going to offer Bauer $36 million. So why should the Mets? Like, if the thing about Bauer is that he wants 36, and like you said, Unslap, if the Mets offer him 34, is he really going to say no and say, give me $2 million more? I saw Christopher Soto on Twitter. He does a really good job with cap space. He says that the Mets have like $35.5 million cap space, and if Bauer's looking for 36, the Mets are right under it. So if somehow the Mets could get Bauer and stay under the tax, that would be really cool. Nice play-by-play would be cool. Yes, I think I'm doing it. Are you kidding me? I feel like that's going to be cool. The thing about the Braves, when the Mets do beat them in the regular season, the Mets go a long way. Somehow that's connected. Yes, Mets season, it is, because like they'll miss the division, they'll miss the wild card by a few games. it's because they don't win enough head-to-head matchups against the Braves. Like, the reason why the Mets got to the playoffs in 2015 and 2016 is that they beat the Phillies more frequently. They beat the Marlins more frequently. They beat the Nationals more often. Stuff like that hasn't happened the past couple years, and it really does need to happen. Like, for me, there are too many times, especially this year in particular, where the Mets lost games that they should have won. And because of that, I mean, that's why they keep missing the playoffs by a few games every single year. I blame Freeman. Yeah, I mean, Freeman is such a pain. He's so good. Rose was offered a great deal and turned it down, got banned. He ought to be happy it didn't come out about him financing cocaine buys. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, though, because Pete Rose is so good. So his numbers, it really stinks he's not in the Hall of Fame. I'm a Red Sox fan. When do you think we'll be good again? I would say probably 3 years, I think is fair. Once the Red Sox can get more pitching, I feel like they'll be okay. I mean, if they're going to keep Xander Bogaerts and they'll keep Rafael Devers, we'll see what they do with Andrew Benintendi. I mean, JD Martinez, I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. I know they have Bobby Dahl back as a big prospect at third base. So I think the Red Sox could be good again within 3 years. The Dodgers have $5 million left on the tax, so I don't know. Yeah, and the other thing I'll slap is that they want to re-sign Justin Turner. So I feel like if the Dodgers re-sign Turner, they're over the tax. And then it's just like, would they be willing to go even more over the tax and sign Bauer? That would just be straight up crazy. So, I mean, we'll see. All right, Andrew, you follow me on Twitter? Awesome. We'll definitely be in touch after the stream. If Mets give more money to Bauer, DeGrom after 2020, we might not be able to resign him. Your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to talk to Jake. If Jake says, all right, here's what I'll say. If I talk to Jacob DeGrom and he says, if you give Trevor Bauer more money than you're giving me, I will opt out. I will not come back. I won't sign Bauer. I will not sign Bauer if I can't keep DeGrom. Like, I'm willing to lose Syndergaard. I can't lose DeGrom. Don't see like Marlins having him. I agree, Louis. Like, the Marlins rotation was really good in the postseason. So it would not surprise me at all if the Marlins were good again. I mean, and their lineup, it has some potential. So I think the Marlins have a good year. And like the Mets division is going to be very tough. I know the Mets need a DH, but with as good as the Braves are on some of these other teams, the Mets might need expanded playoffs, because even with expanded playoffs, the Mets were unable to make the playoffs in 2020, which was just so frustrating for me. And I know a lot of it had to do with starting pitching. Porcello was gone. Waka's gone. Stroman should be back. They added Carrasco. Hopefully, maybe Bauer or somebody else. Added Joey Lucchesi. The NL East best division out there? Yes, Matthew. I think by far the NL East is the best division. As far as top to bottom, I think NL East is definitely the best. All right, guys. One thing I have a question for you guys is Wilson Ramos, him signing for the Tigers, 1 year, $2 million. What did you guys think about the Ramos deal? I want to hear what you guys think about that. You don't like Rojas? Yeah, I'm going to give Rojas 1 more year before I decide. Do I think the Mets have a chance at winning the division? I mean, they have a chance, but it's not great if they don't get some more starting pitching. The Braves rotation is too good for me. The Braves rotation is really, really good, especially with Soroka coming back. Decent signing. Yeah, I mean, I thought Ramos for $2 million? That's not terrible. I mean, I know Ramos wants to be a starting catcher, so we could have brought him on as a backup catcher. But I thought $2 million was a pretty good deal, because I think Brody got robbed. Yeah, got to get paid, and $36 million over the tax. Yeah, I mean, I agree on Slab, because, yeah, so many penalties. You're right on Slab, because the more you go over the tax, the more you're going to get taxed. So, I mean, the Dodgers, that's a lot of money that they have to pay. And, I mean, eventually you want to give Cody Bellinger an extension, right? And, like, the Dodgers have some other young players that are going to need more money. So, I mean, the Dodgers, they're going to be very interesting. I liked Ramos, but he couldn't run or throw anyone out. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was the market at the time. I agree, Omar, but some people have gotten paid way more than I thought. Like, I feel like Garrett Richards for $10 million. I mean, I forgot who the Red Sox fan was in here, but yeah, Minecraft. I can't believe the Red Sox gave Garrett Richards $10 million. I thought that was a lot. Do I know anything about NASCAR? I don't watch NASCAR, Joseph. I used to watch it when I was like really little, but no. I mean, if there's anything you want to tell me about NASCAR, you're more than welcome to. I'm always willing to learn. How do I like Simeon? Louis, I think Simeon is kind of underrated, because this is a guy that was an MVP finalist a couple years ago, and I feel like they were talking about like big free agents all off season, and nobody really talked about Simeon. So I think he's a good player, and that was a very nice signing by Toronto Blue Jays. Only a 1-year deal, under $20 million. I think the Blue Jays made a really good move. Ramos Wembley is a good backup for the Tigers. I mean, I think he could start him, but yeah. Simeon got 18. I thought it was too much. You think 18 was too much for Simeon? I think on a 1-year deal, it's not too much. I mean, that's just the way I looked at it, because, I mean, he was MVP finalist. He gives you a good glove, gives you a good bat, good guy. I think Marcus Semien, he's a pretty good player. I mean, he's not like, I don't think he's worthy MVP finalist. I thought DJ LeMay should have been MVP finalist over him in 2019, but I think Marcus Semien is a solid player. And now, does Semien play third? Does Bichette play third? We'll see. I mean, the Blue Jays, they're going to have a lot of moving around to do it, and it's better to have too many position players than not enough. So at least Toronto they know they have the DH, so that's something they could do. Yeah, we're excited for Mets in Toronto. I'm excited for Mets in Toronto too, because Mets needed the change of scenery, and I think he might be successful with Toronto. I mean, now that the pressure's off and he doesn't have to deal with New York, and Mets fans being all over him, because a lot of Mets fans were very hard on Mets. So I like the Mets move to Toronto. I think it was good for both sides. The Mets needed some more depth, and Mets needed a change of scenery. Gregorius is looking for 15, and I think is more consistent. I mean, yeah, I think Didi for $15 million is fine. Like, I don't think the Mets are going to do it, but I mean, I think Didi $15 million is not a bad asking price. Which Mets turn? Oh yeah, oh my gosh, Andrew, imagine that Mets was 2015 Mets again. I mean, you know what? Like, we gave Mets so many chances that at this point, it's like I would be happy. Like, I wouldn't feel any regrets. I'd be like, at least Mets is doing well, because he is such a good person and does so much charity work that I really root for him. Mets will do good in Toronto. Yeah, I think so. Dodgers TV deal is massive, like $300 million a year. Yeah, I mean, that's why it makes sense if they really wanted to just sign everybody, be like, let's go over the tax, get Justin Turner, let's make a move for Bauer. Like, I mean, the Dodgers could do it. Being in Los Angeles, they make a lot of money. And I think that, like, if the Mets could be successful with the amount of tickets they're going to sell, probably just like all the stuff going on with the Messenger, as long as Cohen doesn't lose too much money to GameStop, I'm just trolling. The Mets, they could probably make a lot of money back too, which means that, like, I don't think going over the tax is going to be a big problem. I think the Mets could go over the tax this year, but it's definitely a lot more likely next year and in years to come. On Hot Stove today, the Phillies have $4 million left to spend. They only got worse. Is that all the Phillies have under the cap space? I thought it'd be more than that. What do you think we could trade for to get Arenado? I don't really know exactly what Colorado is looking for, but for me, I just think that I'm not putting Nimmo in the deal. I'm not putting Dom Smith in the deal. I'm not putting Alonso in the deal. I'm not putting McNeil in the deal. So, I mean, the guys that I am willing to give up is probably Mauricio or Beatty. Has to be like one of the two. JD, I'd put in the trade. Obviously, ideally, I like to put either Cano or Familia or Betances in the deal just to have some money going back. Because taking on Arenado's contract won't be as bad in years to come as long as Cano's contract is off the books. It wouldn't take a lot to get him. Yeah, I don't think it would either. It would just be more so just like the financial implications, because so many people complain, oh, if you give Bauer $36 million, now you can re-sign Couture. Now you can't re-sign these other guys. But, I mean, the same would go for Arenado, because he'd be making the same amount as Trevor Bauer. So no matter what, you would still run into that problem of can you re-sign your players. Ever since the Phillies signed Harper, they haven't been good. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of looks like Bryce Harper might be bad luck, because he leaves the Nationals. They win the World Series. Now the Phillies aren't good. So I don't know. I mean, I think Bryce Harper is a good player, but for some reason his teams don't do well. I'm not sure. 2 years ago, it would have 2 years ago, it would take a lot to get Arenado, yes. Cano's worst contract in LB, yes, I agree. Am I one that doesn't want Arenado for the cost? He has so many more years. He does, but, I mean, Arenado's 30. You'd be paying him till he's 35. I feel like you still get a pretty good Nolan Arenado, for those years. So, I mean, I think it's fine. I think that Nolan Arenado, the cost, like, I mean, as long as they're not getting Bauer, I wouldn't mind Arenado, because, like, just the thought of a left side of the infield of Arenado plus Francisco Lindor, it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing to see, because those two guys are probably the best offensively at their positions. So having that on the left side of their infield, like, you hit a ball on the ground to the left side, good chance you're not getting hit off of it. So that would be a welcome change. And Arenado, like, I'm worried if he could give me a batting average in New York, but I know that Arenado could give me really good power. So at least he could give me some kind of good offense, because the home and away splits, the power is the same, but the average is the real difference. So, I mean, that's the one concern I would have about Arenado. Like, I'd be more concerned about Arenado for the Coors Field than I would about his contract. Do you think Cano should come back after next season? I like him to retire on this low note instead. John, I agree. I feel like we all would prefer if a Cano would retire. But I think that the most likely scenario is that, depending on how this offseason goes, like if the Mets feel that they can't really do anything next year because of Cano's contract, I feel like they probably will Bobby Bonilla style buy out him and just pay him the money over a long term. Arenado has to opt out so he could leave. Yeah, it's always a risk. But you know what? If the Mets are winning and Arenado likes it here, maybe he'd stay. Did you want Springer? I love the deal. Toronto has some good players. Were you Springer, Vladimir? I wanted Springer, but like once they got Lindor, I didn't want Springer as much. I wanted Bauer more only because I feel like the Mets had a bigger need at pitching. I mean, I like Springer a lot, but I just think that pitching is just so important that Brandon Nimble's a good center fielder. Like MLB Network ranked him top 10 because of his offense. So if you already have a top 10 offensive player at every single position in the outfield, I feel like I'm okay. I don't need Springer. Whereas like if you got Springer and the pitching wasn't holding up, like if Showman was bad again, or if Syndergaard doesn't come the way that doesn't, if Syndergaard isn't as good as you hoped coming off the injury, then I would have liked to have had Bauer. It sucks how you could only make Mets views because your other views get no views. I agree, Jacob. Like, I want to make the other videos, but I mean, I just don't like if no one's gonna watch. Like, I won't say no one, but if it's not gonna get the views that the other ones doing, the channels are gonna grow with all these other Mets channels that are growing so much. I'm already far behind as it is, and I just don't want to keep falling behind more and more. And these other channels, they just keep blowing up. I would build around Lindor and Nolan, platinum left side, even Mikey leaves, you can find protective outfield, just me. Andrew, that's fair. I mean, there are other players that are kind of similar to good forward. There aren't many other non-Arenados out there. LB Network rated Ryu 5. I mean, yeah, Hunter Ryu, he's a good pitcher, so, I mean, I'm fine with him being ranked top 5. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. Like I said, Hunter Ryu is a good pitcher. He's a little inconsistent. He has some injury concerns, but I mean, if he's going to do well for Toronto, then good. But I think that the Blue Jays, I'm sure you'll agree with me, Louis, they're going to need more than Ryu because no team could just have one really good starting pitcher and go far. I mean, if you want to go to the World Series, potentially even win it, you need multiple good starting pitchers. So I think the Blue Jays need more than just Hunter Ryu, even if he was the best pitcher in baseball, because the Mets know that having DeGrom, you need more. Yankees know that having Garrett Cole, you need more. So Ryu, I think the Blue Jays need some more. All right. What else you guys got? What other questions you have just in general or other stuff you want to talk about? Any reports, any rumors? What else we got? I mean, just about during the season, channel questions. What else do you guys have for me? Again, thank you, everybody. Louis, Andrew, Jacob. Why do you think we'll get Bauer? Oh, who do you think will get Bauer? I think it's the Mets. I mean, just because when you look at who the bidders are, it looks like the Angels may be out on him. We'll find out. But I just think that when you look at how far the Mets are and how far the Dodgers are, I think the Mets make a lot of sense. Bauer has said that he likes the Mets. Sandy Alderson says that he looks like, I mean, he wants Bauer. He would like him. So that makes sense to me. And then the other thing is just that Andy Martino, even though I don't trust him that much, said that if the Mets got Bauer, they would trade away Steven Matz. Well, the Mets traded Steven Matz before getting Bauer. So for me, I just feel like it just gives off the idea that they may get Bauer. So I don't know. I just think they're the most likely. I'd say it's somewhere from a 60 to 70% chance. That's just the way I like it. Unless some mystery team comes in and gives Bauer a crazy amount of money, then that would be it. I think Alonso needs to play every day to hit his potential. No DH is no bueno. I agree with, are you kidding me, huh? I feel like by next year, once the DH is full-time, the Mets will have to worry about that. If there is no DH this year, I feel like it's going to be a one-year thing. All right, Jacob, why am I a Mets fan? Okay, I told the story in the last stream, but in 2006, I was in my grandma's house, and I walked by the living room, and my dad was watching the Mets game in 06, and Delgado just hit a big home run. And Shea Stadium was going crazy, and my dad was excited. I was like, Dad, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I'm watching the Mets. You should watch. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll watch. I got nothing better to do. I'm at grandma's house. So I sit down, and I watch the Mets, and they played really good. And I watched them the entire 06 run. Had my heart broken in Game 7, but I said, you know what? The Mets were so good. They'll be back. And then the Mets didn't come back to 2015. But regardless, I just love them so much in 06. I stick with them because that's just me. Whether they're good or bad, I'll stick by them. I'm yet to see Cohen's money. On Slap, you will see Cohen's money once they re-sign Lindor. I feel like once the Mets re-sign Lindor for over $300 million, or if they get Bauer, which I think they might, you'll see Cohen's money. So I wouldn't worry about that on Slap. I feel like you will. Three-way trade, Mets get Nolan, Jays get Marquez, Rockies get big group of prospects. Well, that's an interesting deal. I don't hate that. I mean, it would be a good deal for both sides. Listen, if the Mets are the team that's not giving up the prospects as the Blue Jays, I love that, Andrew. That's a nice idea, a good three-way trade because like we said, the Blue Jays need more pitching. That's a nice three-way trade. I don't mind that at all. Hopefully the Mets could somehow get rid of either, like I said, Cano or Betances or Familia's contracts. Those are three guys that the contracts you really like to move. And, I mean, the good news is that one of the things I've been thinking about is once this offseason wraps up and once the season is done, the Mets are going to have a lot of money coming off the books because Familia's contract is going to be off the books. Stroman's contract is gone. Betances' contract is gone. Syndergaard's contract maybe could Florida. So the Mets, a lot of money is coming off the books. So depending on how everybody does, we'll decide. Do we want to bring back Stroman? Want to bring back Syndergaard? So we'll know more next year. I don't think anyone but the Mets will offer Bauer more than $30 million except the Jays. I agree, Mountain, and that's why I feel like if Bauer wants close to $30 million, the Mets are the team that could offer it to him. And the Blue Jays president said that the Blue Jays are not looking to spend that much more money. They feel like they've done their heavy lifting. So, Louis, I want to pose a question to you. Do you believe the Toronto Blue Jays are done spending big money as far as the offseason is concerned? Because the president said that, but I want to know, Louis, as a Blue Jay fan, do you believe that? I'm really curious to get your take on it as a fan of the team that obviously follows the Blue Jays more closely than I do. Bauer said market does not matter, but I think he said that so he does not lose top suitors. Yeah, I mean, Bauer has said a lot. He says winning's important, money's not important, or geography's not important. But I don't know. I feel like the Mets check all of his boxes, and the Mets have interest in him. So that's why I see them as the most likely fit. But that's just me. I mean, I don't know what other team could offer him what he's looking for. Because now that the Mets have over $30 million left to spend in the offseason, I feel like they can give Bauer what he's looking for. So I just see it happening. I don't know. And I think that one of the other things to consider is that Met fans have been pretty hard on Cohen lately. Like, Unslap, you said that you haven't really seen Cohen's money yet. So I feel like a lot of people are saying that. So Cohen's like, wait a minute, you guys haven't seen my money? Watch this. Boom, here's Trevor Bauer. And then everybody could leave me alone. Like, I can see Cohen thinking about that. Louis, I think they will get a pitcher, not Bauer, maybe Odorizzi, Paxton, or Hendricks. Yeah, I think so too. I could see them going for like a lower level veteran starting pitcher. Best second baseman in baseball right now. Oh, that's a really, really good question. It's tough to say because normally I would say Altuve but he had the down year. So I'm going to say DJ LeMahieu only because he is so consistent and he just puts up, he could win a batting title and he plays multiple positions. He's durable. So Joseph, I would say best second baseman is DJ LeMahieu right now. Do you think they should try to unload Betances and Familia in a package trade deal for some more prospects to free up more space? Gregory, 100%. If the Mets could somehow get rid of Familia and or Betances' contract and get prospects back like the way they do with Mets, I would be all for that. Today, I did a podcast over with Mets Junkies, a couple of guys over there, and I proposed a trade to trade away Brad Brock because the Mets have $35 million. Bauer's looking for 36. If you could trade away Brad Brock, and all of a sudden you have just enough for what Trevor Bauer is looking for. DJ got snubbed on a contract. Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't believe how nice of a guy DJ LeMahieu is because LeMahieu could have got more money, whether it's from the Mets, whether it's from the Blue Jays, maybe even the Dodgers. DJ LeMahieu really wanted to be a Yankee, and he was willing to accept such a reasonable contract, and it blows my mind. So that definitely was crazy. Is Lugo a five-starter or a reliever? I mean, I think that Lugo is better as a reliever, and I feel like the Mets need him more to be a reliever. So that would be me. I know the Mets have a plan B if they miss out on Bauer. I don't think they will. If they do, would you be disappointed just because we also missed out on Springer? Omar, I would say it depends on what that plan B is because if the Mets plan B is Suarez, Sonny Gray, I'm not mad at all. I almost prefer that. If the Mets plan B is Chris Bryant, Jackie Bradley, maybe another pitcher, I don't hate it. If the Mets plan B is Arenado with somebody else, I don't mind it. But if their plan B is like, I don't know, Marisnik and some other random like Odorizzi and someone else, I'm not crazy about that. DJ is a humble guy. I agree, Oscar. DJ is a very humble guy. But, I mean, I guess I would be slightly disappointed against Bauer. But, the thing is that the good news is that even if the Mets did not get Bauer, they still have other ways they could do this and still make this a competitive team. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about it, but I think they are likely to pull it off. So, we'll see what happens. But what else? What else do we got? I mean, but one of the things that's interesting is that what I've seen is that if the Mets don't get Bauer, Chris Bryant does look likely. Cohen should go full heel because everybody's bothering. Just go full drunk and steal Empire. Everyone build a new evil empire. I mean, I don't know, Andrew. I just don't understand why so many Met fans have been on Cohen lately on Twitter. Like, why? Like, this guy has saved us from the Wilpons. And so many Met fans, I just don't get it. I really don't get why they're giving such a hard time about GameStop and just not spending enough money and all this other craziness. It really bothers me a lot. But it would be funny if Cohen did that, said, oh, yeah, watch this, and just boom. He got to a big-time player. Got to go. My iPad's about to have a great stream. Thank you, Jacob. I mean, we'll see how much longer the stream goes on. If you guys keep having questions, we'll go. Hey, Manly Forward tomorrow. I agree, Mets fan only. I am looking forward to tomorrow talking to you guys and the other YouTubers. should be a great stream. A lot of good topics to cover because the Mets, I mean, they got money to make more moves. And I was just telling the stream, there's more moves that could be made. So it's exciting because there's a lot of players still available on the market right now. And again, the Mets could go multiple ways about this with how they allocate the rest of their money. Bye, Jacob. J2 Muto is a Posey 2.0. It could be. I mean, the fact that Realmuto had that hip injury at the end of the season, that concerned me because he's turning 30 and now we finally saw his first injury. I feel like that could be something that could be more common as time goes on with his contract. So that would be something that concerns me. I love Cohen just because it's Self Wilpons. I agree. Like the fact that the Mets got Lindor, and I am like almost 100% certain they're going to sign him. Plus the fact that they could sign Trevor Bauer. That wasn't even possible at all for, I mean, the Wilpons. So, I mean, I just don't get it. It really doesn't make sense to me. Actually, I can stay out of charge. Okay, great, Jacob. That's what's up. See you soon. All right, Joseph. Gregory, I'm a Mets fan in Braves country down here in Atlanta. The real test of this team will be whether or not they could dominate the Braves. If so, they would definitely be in the World Series. I mean, I agree, Gregory. I mean, I think that the Mets' main priority has the stream is at 7 o'clock tomorrow, Steve, for the me, Mets fan, all the other YouTubers. But I think that for the Mets, like that's the main reason why I want Bauer because he dominated them in the postseason. And let's just say that, like the Mets were to win a wild card game against somebody, and then the Mets play the Braves in a playoff matchup. I mean, knowing that you could have Bauer against them, I feel like that's such an advantage for the Mets that they really could use. So, I mean, I would be all for that. And again, so far it looks like the stream is going to be on Mets fan only stream. I would like to get on mine, but I just don't see a way I could share the screen. I've looked at it. So I would like, what's up, Colby? You're another guy I want to thank because I see you in the comments a lot. But we're just talking about everything. We're talking about Realmuto, about Bauer, Bryant, Arenado, Hyun-Jin Ryu, everybody. By the way, I'm from PR, so imagine how happy was they got Lindor. I agree, Omar. I'm half PR, so I was very excited they got Lindor as well. And I wouldn't mind if had they gotten Kike Hernandez to pair him up. When will Bauer sign? I think it's going to be sometime within the next 2 weeks, if I had to guess. One guy I was thinking of, guys, is next offseason. Let's say Mets don't get Bauer, don't get Bryant. Somebody on my next year's offseason list that's very high on my list is Javi Baez. Because I feel like Javi Baez or Carlos Correa, you could move them around. You could go to third base. You could go to second base. I mean, Javi Baez has the ability to move around and would go really well with Lindor. Any teases for upcoming vids? I mean, I'll have a subscriber Saturday video out. I haven't decided on which one I'm going to do yet. I'll let you know by tomorrow. But I will have a subscriber Saturday video out. And then obviously tomorrow is going to be the stream with me and the other Met YouTubers at 7 o'clock. So that's kind of the plan for Friday. Saturday will be subscriber Saturday. And then we'll see from there. I just haven't decided which video I'm going to do because you guys suggested a lot. So I'm going to look through them and see which one I want to do. So we'll see. But definitely subscriber Saturday. And then the stream tomorrow. Obviously the stream right now. So that's been planned. Obviously, if there's any breaking news or something else you guys want to see, then we could make that as well. But, I mean, that's it right now for the plans. I mean, I'm not going to make up fake news or fake stories about the Mets that aren't true because this is Frank About Sports. Remember your old MLB The Show vids? I remember them too. I mean, that was something I felt like I just had to do since there was nothing going on in sports. And it was fun. Like, it got some support. The channel started to grow a little bit. But once Cohen took over, that's when the channel really blew up. Baez and Lindor, I like that infield. I do too. I love that infield. We have to kick the Braves' butt. I agree. Carlson and Altuve have something to prove next season. They definitely do. I mean, the Astros in general have a lot to prove because, I mean, the Astros, they got pretty far, all things considered, going up against the Rays in the LCS. But I think as far as regular season, I mean, those guys, they didn't look too good for a team that, had cheated or not cheated. I mean, those guys did not look too good now with the spotlight on them and people probably checking if they are cheating. So, I mean, Altuve needs a bounce-back year. Bregman needs a bounce-back year. At least Correa was still pretty productive in the postseason. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Houston. They're definitely going to be a team to watch next year. I mean, they're lucky that they're in the AL West, where there isn't too much competition, where they probably could still win the division, especially now the Athletics. And yeah, Springer's gone, so that's another thing for the Astros. But the Athletics, they lost Liam Hendricks and Marcus Semien. So the AL West in general has definitely gotten weaker. So the Mariners, they're probably on the rise. And within a few years, if the Astros and A's don't keep up, the Mariners could probably overtake them in that division. They have some really nice young talent that is up and coming. So, I mean, we'll see what happens in the AL West. Houston will be great or terrible. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is possible. It could go either way. I mean, with the players they have, definitely has some potential. So, I mean, we'll see how Houston does. I mean, I'll make a power rankings once the offseason is over, how I feel about everyone. How much do you think Bauer is truly worth? I think 30-plus million is insane. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's worth the 30-plus million, but I feel like if he's worth something, maybe I don't know. I'd say anywhere from like 20 to 25 million. I feel like is fair. But the thing is that like I'm willing to go to 35 million because I know that's what he wants and that's what he's going to sign for. So I mean, like it's unfortunate that the Mets have to go over 30 million. But if that's what it takes to get him, then I guess that's it. But I agree. I don't think he's worth the 30 plus million. But I just really want him on the team. Again, I just want to see the Mets win a World Series. They need more pitching. So I mean, that's just going to be my stance until proven otherwise. Again, I love the Suarez Gray trade, but I mean, we haven't heard much traction on it lately. Not only with the Mets, but just in general. Like, I mean, the thing about the Suarez Gray trade is that like Suarez and Gray's contract, like Suarez 11 million, Gray 10 million. Why would you want to trade those guys? Like, and for multiple years, like those are such friendly contracts. I don't think you want to get rid of them. Watch a Steinbauer has a career-ending injury. Oh my gosh, that would stink, Steve. Oh, that would be so brutal. All right, Omar, thank you for tuning in and commenting a lot. We'll see you next time. Thank you, LFGM. I agree, man. Don't say that, Cody. Yeah, I agree. Would Mets Luis Castillo trade be possible? E. Gonzalez, I do not think so because they asked for Gleyber Torres from the Yankees, and like the Yankees said no, and then that was it. And it looked like the Reds want to keep Castillo. So I feel like who do the Mets really have that is comparable to Gleyber that they really could trade? I know a lot of fans want Castillo. I want Castillo too, but I just don't think the Mets really have the package I would really take. And like even if the Mets did have the package, it would hurt their team so much that like yes, they would upgrade their team, but then they were hurting other areas. We should trade for Michael Givens. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, the Mets could use more bullpen help, and Michael Givens would not cost much, so I'd be fine with that. Got it wrong. We'll talk later. Keep grinding, my guy. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you checking in, and we'll talk on Twitter to get those autographs. So I really appreciate you checking in, Andrew. Thank you very much. So again, thank you everybody for 1K. Even people who are, not watching now, they're probably watching like in the future, whenever it is. I thank you as well. Bold prediction: Mets sign Bauer tomorrow. I hope so. I want Darren. I did too, Steve. But you know what? The fact that the Mets got Aaron Loop, I was like okay with it. And the thing is, like, if they get Bauer, I mean, I don't think they're going to make many other signings. So we'll see. Or if they get Arenado, they're not going to make many other signings. But I wanted Darren O'Day, too, because I like his delivery. He had a really good 2020, and he was on the Braves. But, of course, the Yankees, they made another smart signing. The Yankees tend to do that. The Yankees tend to make a lot of smart moves. So you hope that's something that you could see in the future with the Mets, that they could kind of go in the habit of making smart moves as well. I would definitely like to see that from them. But there's still plenty of relievers out there like Mark Melancon, Shane Green. And the problem is that like someone proposed the idea of like Ken Giles, Roberto Ozuna, so Daniel Hudson. Yeah, I mean like there's a lot of guys that are out there, Alex Colome, but it looks like they're going to want closer roles. So the fact that the Mets want to give it to Brad Hand, they're not going to give it to these other guys. So now that really limits the kind of guys the Mets can get from the bullpen. Jeremy, Trevor Bauer's a New York Met. Wake up, sheep. Jeremy, I know you've been telling me a lot, but until I see passing or one of these guys say it, I can't buy it, Jeremy, I know you're saying he'll be a Met, but, I mean, one of these big guys has to report it. I'm sorry, Jeremy, but I need to see a big guy report that Bauer's a Met. I mean, like, the thing is that with the Nationals, it's crazy to me that Daniel Hudson, Will Harris are good relievers, and they're perfectly fine. Like, okay, well, we're willing to not be the closer. You can sign Brad Hand. Meanwhile, like Diaz, it was a big deal for the Mets. I just can't believe how quick Diaz became Mariano. That really just it drove me nuts. So, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, like, I feel like the Mets could use more bullpen. Like, Aaron Loop was a nice signing. I like the signing. A lefty that keeps the ball in the ballpark against lefties, which is good. But I think the Mets could use more bullpen help. I mean, but that's just me. All right, what else we got? I mean, we don't really have too many people left in the stream. So if you guys have more questions, we can continue. If not, then I just don't think Bauer's a Met. I don't think he will come here. I mean, he said that he likes Cohen and everything, and this is a good place to build his brand. Where do you see him signing, Steve? Because the problem is just that, like, how many other suitors are really out there for Bauer? It doesn't look like there are many other ones. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I mean, Nicky D is someone I see in the comments a lot. Jose Laura is another one I see in the comments a lot. Jersey Devil, I see him in the comments again. If only we saw Kelenic, I agree. Bye, guys. All right, on Slap, thank you for checking in. You've been a constant supporter for a long time. So I really appreciate that. I agree, Colby. If only kept Kelenic. Lucchesi will be tested as a reliever now. Yeah, I think Lucchesi could be a reliever because he has that churve, as they call it. Go ahead, man. Peace out. All right, Oscar, thank you for checking in. Lucchesi definitely has the ability because his movement is so good, and he's another lefty. So if the Mets were to bring in another starting pitcher, I think that Lucchesi could be a reliever. And the Mets could use all the bullpen help they can get, especially a long man. That would be cool. I feel like he will go to the Dodgers or something. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I'm the Mets, I just can't let that happen. I cannot let Bauer go to a team in the division. Like, if the Angels offer Bauer something crazy, I'll let him go. because I'm not going to go too crazy for him. I'm going to keep him under the tax. But, I mean, if the Dodgers went that much over the tax and they're in your league, I just feel like if you're the Mets and you're Cohen and you have this money, you just can't let that happen. You can't get bullied by the Dodgers or by these other teams. Like the Blue Jays outpaid you with Springer. You can't let that happen with Trevor Bauer. So I really don't want to see that happen. All right, I'm just trying to see who else I want to thank before we go. Michael Angelo is another guy I see in the comments a lot. Sports Highlights, I saw him. Obviously, Blue Man is another one. Jeremy's in there a lot. What else do we have? No more questions right now. I'm trying to think who else is in the comments. Like Kelvin Reyes, he commented recently. Stem is another guy I see in the comments a lot. Thank you, Stem. I mean, Nick DePaulo, that's another one. Thank you, Brendan A, obviously. Samuel, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of people. See you soon. All right, Joseph, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to think who else we have. Jonathan Mendez, I see him in the comments a couple times, but he had some mean things to say, so maybe not. Louis, obviously. Favorite team other than the Mets? Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say, wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I like a lot of baseball team. All right, goodbye, Jacob. Have a great night or day. I mean, I like the Rays are pretty cool. I root for them. I like, I'm trying to think who else. The Astros, I liked them before the cheating. I like the Cubs. I like the Cardinals, the Padres. I like the Padres a lot. I mean, I liked the Dodgers because they have Mookie Betts and Bellinger, so I like those players. I'm trying to think what other teams I really like a lot. I mean, the White Sox, I've seen in the comments a lot. Holly, I mean, there's a lot of people I want to thank. So I really appreciate everybody. Your connection is unstable. Please wait. We're trying to connect. Oh, God, now my connection is going out. That's not a good sign. All right. I'm trying to think. Robert, I've seen him in the comments a few times. Andrew Gaming, I've seen him in the comments. I'm trying to think who else I want to thank in this stream. I find it crazy how some of the LB Eric analysts don't have DeGrom. I agree, Colby. Like, I don't see how you can't say that DeGrom is not a number one pitcher in baseball. I mean, this guy has just been so consistent. And even when the Mets are not doing well, I mean, he still pitches well. I just don't get it. He's healthy. You know, he's out there every 5 days. He doesn't have bad months. He doesn't have bad years like some other pitchers. I mean, Jacob DeGrom is just so consistent. Even when the Mets are not giving him the run support, he's still really good. All right, I'm trying to think who else we have. In the comments, free agency is signed. JBJ and Bauer, another big trade. I mean, I don't think they'll do Jackie and Bradley and the big trade. I feel like it would either be Bauer or Jackie and big trade. I feel like that's where they're going to go about. Least favorite NL team is the Braves. The Braves are just so good, and I don't know, just like Acuna and Freeman and those guys are just annoying because they're so good. And they always beat the Mets. And Marcell Ozuna, if he comes back, or Josh Donaldson was annoying. Darno. I mean, like, the Braves are just freaking annoying. They're just so good and giving the Mets a tough time. So, and my least favorite NL East team is probably the Atlanta Braves. All right. Anything else, guys? I mean, because that's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about Bauer, about Chris Bryant, Jackie Bradley, Arenado, Suarez, Sonny Gray. I mean, other than that, I mean, those are really the main things that looks like the Mets are focusing on. I mean, and we can talk about Mets. Where do Phillies and Nats rank in the NL East? Oh, Sella, that's another person I absolutely have to thank. Sella has been rocking with the channel for a very long time. Sella, my man. All right. Where do the Phillies and Nats rank in the NL East? All right. I would say that the Nationals are probably this is tough. I'm going to say Nationals third, Marlins fourth, Phillies fifth, Braves first, Mets second as of right now. I mean, depending on what other moves the teams make. And one thing I was considering, guys, is I think that we haven't talked about this in the stream, but how take Braves could be third place team to Nats if injuries. I mean, anybody could go down the NL East if they have injuries, so that definitely is possible, Steve. But don't forget, the Braves had discussions with Cleveland about Jose Ramirez. And earlier in the offseason, the Nationals had Cubs about Chris Bryant. So I think that the Braves and Nationals are both realistic destinations for Chris Bryant. I know it has been reported a lot lately, but in my opinion, I could see a trade to either one of those teams happening. So if the Mets don't get Bauer, it would be nice to get Chris Bryant just for the sake that at least he doesn't go to the Braves or he doesn't go to the Nationals. If there is a DH, I also would be very aggressive in pursuing Marcell Ozuna just to take him away from the Braves. I think that's another thing that I go about the Mets because, again, there still is a gap. Like, to me, the Braves are still the better team in the division. So the Mets have got to make some kind of moves that they could overtake the Braves. Now, we got 11 people, so we're really losing people quick here. So, I mean, if we don't really have too many other questions, I mean, I won't keep you guys forever. I appreciate everyone that's staying, but a lot of people are dropping out. So, I mean, we might not go too much longer, it seems like. I just want to see before we go if there's anybody else I want to thank. I'm just trying to see who has like the most comments. I see Alexander Garrett, him a lot. The Braves better not get Ramirez. I agree. I mean, if the Braves get Jose Ramirez, that is a huge problem. I mean, Jose Ramirez, he's a guy that has MVP caliber stuff. I mean, like, he could have an MVP caliber second half, but I mean, the Braves are really good as it is. Jose Ramirez would definitely put them over the top. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't miss anybody, because I might be like, oh, you forgot about me. Obviously, I mean, some people that like maybe don't comment on the channel, but just good friends of mine that have helped out. Mike Dorval, Austin, Kevin, Sam Namo. I mean, he's a guy that's always had me on his website, so that's been great. Charlie Morris with the Braves was a very, very move. I agree, Stella. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw my my Charlie Morton video, but I was raging. I was livid when the Braves got Charlie Morton instead of the Mets. Got any sleeper unpopular starter trades for Mets? I think that the Lorenzo Cain trade is something that hasn't been reported too much, but is possible, because I always like Lorenzo Cain. I feel like he brings a really good glove. So I think Lorenzo Cain would not be a bad trade for the Mets. I think it's possible. But other than that, I mean, as far as the trade market, there is, like, I want the Mets to get more starting pitching. And I feel that a lot of the starting pitchers that were going to be traded have already been traded. So other than that, like, what other trades the Mets really making or looking to make? Could be Kevin Kiermaier, Harrison Bader. I mean, there are center field options for trades, but other than that, like, any trades that have been out there, they've been talked about a lot. So I don't really have any unpopular trades, I would say. But I'm trying to think who else has rocked with me for a long time that they've just helped out the channel in general. I mean, there's been a lot of people. Cody's to pay off Bobby Bonilla. I mean, yeah, he could do that. But, I mean, he also proposed the idea of, like, Bobby Bonilla Day, where, like, they just have him run the bases, give him a big check. That would actually be funny and make it a fun day. But it would be nice for the Mets just to get that off of them, because every year it's like people like, oh, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, haha, stupid Mets. And, you know, stuff like that really just gets annoying as a Mets fan. So I would like to see the Bobby Bonilla stuff be resolved as soon as possible. But I don't know if that's something that Steve Cohen is looking to do now, maybe eventually. I mean, obviously, it looks like GameStop is a bigger priority because people are all over him for that. And, I just can't believe the kind of attention that it's got. It's really frustrating me, no doubt. All righty. Anything else we got? Because, again, if you guys – I don't want to make you guys feel like you have to stay. I really appreciate everyone that has stayed, you know, Steve and Sellout and E. Gonzalez and Colby and everyone who's been commenting the whole time. So I really appreciate all you guys a lot. But – if you guys don't have any other questions, you can say no more questions, and we'll end it right there. I think it was fine. I got to thank a good amount of people. If there's people I've forgotten, I'm very sorry. If you comment, obviously I'll say thank you, because I appreciate everybody. Again, even people who don't comment, I really appreciate them. I want to thank them as well. Mets got extended the door ASAP. I agree. I think once the offseason is over and they kind of wrapped up their big-time moves, I feel like the New York Mets will definitely re-sign Lindor. All right, bye, Minecraft, a.k.a. Jacob. I appreciate you sticking around for a while. But, yeah, I think the Mets definitely will extend the door before the season, because that's something he said he wants to do. And I don't even want to take the chance of letting Lindor get to free agency, because I feel like if you're the Mets, you have this very nice opportunity to where you could re-sign him right now before any other teams really get a chance at it. So if you could just offer Lindor, whether it's over 10 years, over $300 million, and just sign him right then and there, boom, you're good. So, I mean, that's something that I'd want to do if I were the Mets. I'd really try. I agree, Colby. I would try to re-sign Lindor definitely ASAP. That has got to be a top priority for their team. So, again, I want to thank all you guys that have been in here. True. Don't even risk it. I mean, like why? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, like, once you know how the offseason went, did you get Jackie Bradley? Did you get somebody else? Then you'll know exactly what you want to do with the money for Francisco Lindor. I have my concerns with Bryant. He was bad. He was 29. So I would go Suarez, because you would also 9% also get Sonny Gray. You hyped for the stream tomorrow? I am too. I'm excited. I mean, this is going to be the first time I'm working with any of these guys, so it should go well. I really hope that it helps grow the channel, that, you know, people from their channels, like their subscribers, will see me and be like, oh, you know, I should subscribe to him too. That'd be cool. Help grow his channel, give him more likes, more views. That'd be nice. Just anything to grow the channel more for. That's why I did the stream. I really did the stream because I feel like it's a good opportunity to grow the channel, and I really want to do that. But, yeah, I mean, I agree, Sel. The only problem is that, you know, people, like the big-time reporters, they have not – had them. What time is the stream tomorrow? It's at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock Eastern time. You guys probably different time zones, but New York time for me, it's 7 o'clock. I don't know what that is in every time zone, but 7 o'clock Eastern time. But so I'm trying to see what else we had. Oh, so Sal, yeah, I just think that like Heyman or Passan or Feinstein or any of these other guys, like they haven't talked about Suarez great, not even to the Mets, but anybody in general. So as much as I would like that trade, I just don't really think it's likely. Like, I feel like the Mets could have reached out to the Reds and say, hey, you know, we're interested in Suarez/Sonny Gray. What do you guys think? And depending on what the Reds said, the Mets would have been like, okay, goodbye. And, like, you know, let's not do the deal. So, I mean, we'll see. I really would love to know what the Reds are asking for because that would decide if I really want to do it. Do I think Bauer? Do we think we make the pro move of signing Bauer for 1 year and re-sign next? Oh, that would be interesting. I mean, obviously, it would be ideal to get Bauer on a 1 year deal. Like that would be the top priority. Even if it puts you over the tax for the 1 year, I'd be willing to do that. I'm calling Lindor will win MVP. He has the capability. Like Francisco Lindor definitely has the talent to win MVP. So it wouldn't surprise me. Rob Manfred's in custody. Trevor Bauer's in New York Met. Expect an announcement soon. Cohen and Bauer are negotiating. We'll see, Jeremy. I hope so. I really do hope that the Mets do indeed get Trevor Bauer. We got a few more people in the stream just now, so I appreciate everybody joining, and thank you for checking in. Again, we're just talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. We've covered a lot of good stuff. We talked about some basketball. We talked about football, mostly Mets stuff. So whatever you guys want to talk about, let's talk about it. I want to talk about me, about the channel. We can talk about whatever. We want to talk about life, the weather. I don't care. I mean, I'm here to chat with you guys. So, it's Frank about sports, but we can talk about anything but politics and religion. Those are the two things that we don't do. What if Lindor has another okay season again? Oh, that's a good question, Sellout. Well, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm still going to re-sign him before the season starts anyway. So I would really just try to re-sign him. If he has an okay season, we have him 10 more years. I feel like he's bound to have a good year again. I wouldn't worry too much about Lindor's 2020 season. So I would just say that, like, a lot of people had down years in 2020. MVP caliber players had down years. So I wouldn't worry too much about Lindor in general because so many other players that are like top 5 or top 10 guys, they had down years. So I guess it happens to everybody. My comments aren't showing up. I had like 5 other comments. You're my favorite match. Thanks, Steve. I mean, Jeremy, like, I feel like if you spam, like YouTube, like, honestly, guys, that's one thing I want to say right now. You guys will make comments that are fair, reasonable, not vulgar, not bad, and YouTube just takes away your comments. Like, I go to reply to your guys' comments. Like, I go to notifications, I'll see a comment. I go to reply to comment, YouTube community guidelines takes down your comment. I don't know why. So, Jeremy, your comments are probably going to be removed by YouTube. I don't know why, but they do. They might think you're spam. Like, Jeremy, if you comment a bunch of times, I know you're not a spam, but YouTube might see you as that, and they'll just take you down. So that's just what YouTube does. I mean, it stinks because a lot of you guys are like normal. They'll give me normal comments and then just like, boop, take it down. All right. How would Mets get Bauer and resign Lindor without blowing where the tax? I mean, they're going to. Like, oh, well. Same. My comments are gone. Yeah, I don't know why your comments disappear, guys. It really makes no sense. But, I mean, eventually Egan's like, the Mets are going to go over the tax, so it's going to happen. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, like, I don't know. Why else would the Mets trade Mats? What else are they going to do with this money? I feel like you trade Mats if you're going to get Bauer, and like you have such a good opportunity. You need the pitching. Like the Mets need to go over the tax if they want to have a World Series caliber team. That's just the way I see it right now. When did the start from the Sonny Gray? Based off what you're saying, when did the Sonny Gray rumors start? It started when Tim Ryder from Mets Mesmerized, like a couple of weeks ago, said from an industry source, the Mets reached out to the Reds about potential Sonny Gray trade. That's where that whole idea really came from as far as recently. But other than that, I mean, it's really been speculation because no one else has really talked about it. We can afford to get rid of Thor, but I'm worried about Conforto. Yeah, well, I think that, I mean, I don't know. Like, Stella, it really depends how much money Cohen wants to spend. Like, he could re-sign everybody. It's money. Like, all it is money. So we'll see what the CBA penalties are, but he could re-sign more people. Do you think that DH will be in the National League this year? It's so tough to say. I mean, I want to say yes, but it's gone on so long of no that if they were to implement it, that it would just be so I love to see the Mexican gray. I don't even think Suarez is Mexican, but like they've just for a while said that there's no DH. It would be so bad for right now for them to now do the DH. I feel like that'd be really messed up to players like Ozuna and Cruz that maybe there won't be a DH. I really just don't know. It's so tough. Favorite to win the AL at the moment, I would say the Yankees. Yeah, I would say the Yankees just because the Blue Jays I don't think have the pitching quite yet, and the White Sox, we'll see how it all comes together. But I think the White Sox have a very good chance too. How could Trout be the best player? He only had one playoff appearance and was swept. How can the best player lose to bad teams? Louis, baseball is very different than football and basketball. It takes a lot more than one player. So I don't blame Trout for the Angels' lack of success because if Mike Trout gives you a run or two every at-bat and the Angels give up 5 runs, it doesn't matter. Okay, well then they're going to have a Mookie Betts situation, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, because the Dodgers were able to sign Mookie Betts kind of during the season because there was the delayed season. But Lindor said that if he's going to do a contract extension, it's going to be before the season. So I feel like they have to do that. Sonny Gray and Luzardo 2 years from now with us. That's possible because Sonny Gray is going to be a free agent 2 years, and Jesus Luzardo would be a guy I would really like to go after. So that definitely is a possibility. I like that, John. That's a good idea. I mean, in 2 years, he's going to get worse. I think his best years are probably behind him, but he still can provide pretty good years. The real X factor for the Mets right now, as the team currently is constructed, is how is Stroman and Syndergaard are going to perform? Because the problem last year was Waka and Porcello. So, I mean, if Stroman and Syndergaard are not big-time upgrades, not healthy, not productive, the Mets have no shot. So if the Mets have any chance this year in the playoffs, Stroman and Syndergaard are going to be the key guys for me. All what, Jake? So I'd rather see them get some Gray and the third baseman, not Bauer. Accidentally said, okay. Not Bauer. I guess you're trying to say not Bryant. Like Frank said, the reason teams make the World Series starting pitching and he just didn't have good starting pitching. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. If you're the GM, what moves would you make this offseason? All right, the thing that I would want to do is the Reds trade, but I just don't know what they want. Like, if the Reds, if they're asking for Alvarez or Matthew Allen, if they're asking like for a ton, like Dom plus Nimmo plus Mauricio plus someone else, I want to do the Reds trade. But other than that, I think it has to be Bauer. And, like, if I had all the money, if Cohen said, do what you want, give me Bauer, resign Lindor, resign Conforto, resign Syndergaard. But I don't think that's realistic, so that's just what I see. Mets will go over the tax cut. They just want to wait long as they can. I agree, Steve. Like, the Mets are going to go over the tax eventually, and it might be this year. We'll see. I mean, like, if the Mets can find a way to free up just a little more money, there could be a possibility that they could get Bauer and either Almora and Marisnik and call it an offseason because the Mets have done a good job with adding depth. I mean, we haven't really talked a lot about Jared Eichhoff. We haven't talked a lot about Jerry Blevins. We haven't talked a lot about Steven Tarpley. You know, all these other signings the Mets have made for minor league depth. I mean, the trade that they made to get those 3 prospects from Toronto. If you're the GM, how many reporters would you text? Probably 0. I'm not going to harass or bother anybody. I mean, I'll just be like, all right, well, just to break a story. Other than that, I wouldn't really be texting reporters. It is MLB. What do you think wins the Super Bowl? I think the Chiefs are going to win just because Mahomes is so good. And Brady didn't look good down the stretch of that Packers game. I just have a lot more faith in Mahomes and their weapons. What's your stance on politics, Jeremy? I'm not talking about politics or religion. Those are 2 things that no matter what, people will be mad no matter what stance you have. So it's just really not worth it. It's Frank about sports. We can talk about sports. We can talk about the weather. You know, we can talk about music. We can talk about movies. We can talk about TV shows. But politics and religion, we're just not going to cover. I'm surprised nobody signed Tanaka. I agree. Like, I feel like if teams were willing to offer Tanaka a good deal, I mean, the Yankees must be doing something good for their players because the fact that LeMahieu or Tanaka were not willing to go anywhere else besides the Yankees, the fact that Tanaka went back to Japan is really crazy. Coach put a GameStop at City. Steve, that would be hilarious. I would love that because I love going to GameStop. I can actually use a trip to GameStop because there's some supplies I need for my systems because every equipment sucks. Things break so easy. Second favorite sport, basketball. I love watching basketball. I watch basketball every night. Like, once we're done streaming, I'm probably either going to play 2K or watch basketball. I mean, I love basketball. It definitely is my second favorite sport, right there with baseball. But again, the baseball videos do a lot better, so we talk about baseball on the Mets. But I really like basketball a lot. So I would love to do a basketball stream eventually if that's something people would be down for, you know, because I don't see why not. But nice try, Jeremy. You almost got me, but you're not getting me. But I would love to see a GameStop. Just Cohen, favorite 2K game. That's what going to because I'll answer that in a second. But Cohen putting in GameStop, like, it would just be such a good move just to stick it to the trolls. I would love to see Cohen put a GameStop in. That's a great idea, Steve. Favorite 2K game of all time? There's a few I like. I really liked the one that had Jordan, Magic, and Bird on the cover. I think 2K12. You want my some basketball videos? We'll see, Colby. I mean, like, I've made basketball videos. They just don't do well. The channel doesn't grow. It really sucks. But I liked 2K12. I liked 2K19 with Giannis on the cover. The My Team was awesome. And I'm kind of liking this one this year. Like, I mean, I don't know. I like the grind. I like the grind of this year's 2K, just like that you could earn the Kawhi Leonard or you could earn the Kemba Walker. I just like that this 2K has a little bit of a grind aspect to it. The gameplay is abysmal. 2K17, that's an interesting one. I don't know much about basketball, but I would watch. That's good, Steve. I mean, like, if we were to look at the channel, like, you look at the basketball videos, guys, compared to the Mets videos, it's like not even close. Like, when James Harden got traded to the Nets, I was like, this is such a big deal. I got to make a video about this. And, like, if we look at how it did, it got, 142 views. Meanwhile, a Mets video gets like 1,000 views easily. So, I mean, the fact 1,000 and 100, it's like such a big drop off that I can't really make the basketball videos. I like baseball and American football personally. Yeah, I like football a lot too. Football is my third favorite sport. And I used to make football videos, but they just didn't do well either. My favorite bet of all time is Carlos Beltran. I know it's not like a popular thing, but Carlos Beltran, he was just so much fun to watch. Like, even though he had that strikeout in Game 7, he was so good in the field. He's a good person, and he just does a lot of good switch hitters. Why are there so many Mets YouTubers in comparison to other teams? I think that because Cohen took over, there's just a lot of buzz and excitement around Mets fans that they're just making a lot of channels, and their channels are doing very, very well because, at one point, my channel was bigger than some of these other Met channels, but then they went past me. They blew past me, and they keep going. Like, their channels keep growing like crazy, and I can't keep up with them. So I'm trying to think of other ways I could really upgrade the channel just to, like, have mine grow at a kind of similar rate. And we'll see how the stream does tomorrow with these other YouTubers. Maybe it'll help my channel grow. I really hope so. Love Beltran. I agree. I should make merch. Eventually, I would like to do that once I have more of a following. I would like to make merch in the future. A superstar to me is a player that can win championship or farm-run playoffs like Kawhi Leonard, Springer. I don't agree with Springer, Mahomes, even a Grom or Ayu, but I can't put Trout there. All right, Louis. Listen, Louis. I understand you don't like Trout. And if you don't like Trout, you don't like Trout. Like, we can agree to disagree, but you cannot tell me that Hunter Ryu is better than Mike Trout. I'm sorry, but you just can't tell me Ryu is better. What moves would you make if you were a GM? It depends what team I am a GM. There's a lot of channels for other teams. Yeah, there are channels for other teams. I've seen them, but, he was just asking me Mets – because I was just asking Mets teams in generals. So, that was my answer. But there are other channels Mets season. That is true. I've seen them. You made great contests, collab with Wardy. A lot of people have said collab with Wardy, but you have to ask him because I don't know why Wardy's not in tomorrow's stream. I don't know if he was asked. I don't know if he declined. So you guys have to chat with him. You really have to ask him because a lot of people have recommended it, but someone told me that I'm not good as Wardy. I'm not on the same level as Wardy, so we'll see. Roy, you, bro, I agree. You made great content. Thank you, Colby. I really appreciate that. Collab with the Hut. Well, the Hut's going to be in tomorrow's video, so let's see how our chemistry is. Listen, I'm willing to collab with anybody. As long as they have not said a bad word about me or been disrespectful to me, I will collab with anyone because I just want to make my channel grow. And probably other people want to see that. And I like to hear other people's perspectives. It's not just about me. I want to know what other people say. I want to know what you guys have to say. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be open-minded, not be selfish or stubborn. What else we got? Trout is too good. I agree. Trout is a lead MVP player. He goes cold in big situations. Louis, Trout hasn't had a chance to have big situations yet. Listen, once the Angels, if the Angels actually get to the playoffs one day, then we could evaluate Trout. But until then, when we look at the numbers, Trout is really good. But I hear what you're saying. Like, in the other sports, like you were saying Kawhi or Mahomes, it's so much easier to have that impact in football and basketball than it is in baseball. Like, baseball is probably the biggest team sport out there. Like, in basketball, one player could carry it to the playoffs. In football, I want to say one player could carry it to the playoffs, but they can have such a huge impact on if you make the playoffs or not with a quarterback. But in baseball, it does not work like that. Not at all. Even DeGrom, like you pointed DeGrom out in one of your comments, the Mets can't get to the playoffs the past few years, even when having DeGrom, no matter how good he's been. So I think, like, if you don't like Trout, okay, and you don't like Trout, we can agree to disagree. That's fine. Like, I know that a lot of people still don't want Bauer, even though I do. So it's fine. If we sign Bartolo, we're World Series favorites. Listen, I want to see Bartolo come back, so I'd be all good with that, Colby. If Trout's a free agent right now, how much would he be worth? I feel like with all the players that are getting over $350 million, I feel like Trout's probably worth over $400 million just because Trout's just like a next level kind of player. I feel like he probably could get $400 million because what's very interesting about baseball right now is if you look at contracts, they keep going up and up. Like, I wonder if, let's say 20 years from now, is there going to be like $500 million contracts, $600 million contracts? Who knows? Because as of right now, contracts just keep going up. I think the Phillies should sign Bartolo, but not for Amies because they can honestly use him. Yes, the Phillies definitely need more pitching. Oh, per year, you can tell us. I'm sorry. Trout, probably somewhere in the 40s since guys are getting like 35, 36 million. So I'd probably say like probably over 40 million for Trout per year. I thought they had a chance when Lincecum was there, but we know what happened with the freak. Yeah, Tim Lincecum is probably one of the more saddest stories. One of the other guys that I'm doing the stream with, I'm really excited to stream with, is Jolly Olive. He makes so many good videos, like very creative. A lot of Met YouTubers, they make similar videos. I make similar videos to other people, but Jolly Olive, he has really good stuff. I'm very excited to do the stream with him because I really like his videos. How many years do you think Bauer will get with the Mets if they get him? John Heyman says somewhere from the 3 to 4 year range. So I'm guessing it's going to be 3 to 4 years. If it's over 4 years, as much as I'm on Bauer, I'm not doing it because I know there's a lot of risk involved just in even a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. I can't go over 4. Like 3 to 4. I mean, 3 is where I would like to stop. I don't want to go 4. If I have to go 4, I guess I will, but I really don't want to go over 3 for Bauer. But I mean, like Heyman said, that's what they're looking for. And Bauer said he is, willing to take some long-term, some short-term deals. So hopefully the Mets can pull that off. When will the Knicks win the championship? Sal, I have no idea. The Knicks, to me, are still so far from winning a championship. Until the Knicks even get a star point guard, until the Knicks even make the playoffs. And Tom Thibodeau is doing a really good job right now with the Knicks. But, I mean, the Knicks still have a long way to go. I have no idea when the Knicks will ever win a championship. And it's so frustrating because, like the Mets, I would like to see the Knicks win a championship. I like to see the Jets win a Super Bowl. Like, I would like to see these other New York teams actually win championships besides the Giants and Yankees. So, I mean, we'll see whenever the things go right for the Knicks. But it is taking definitely a lot longer than they would like it to. I mean, that one team they had with Jason Kidd and all those vets, that was the best chance they had. And then after that, those guys were just too old that it wasn't really sustainable. And the Knicks were never really able to get back to that level. I don't know. Emmanuel Quickly is looking like a stud. Yeah, Emmanuel Quickly is looking good, but I mean, he had that bad game. Was it last night against Utah? No, was it Utah? Yeah, I think it was Utah they played. That Emmanuel Quickly wasn't looking good. So, I mean, we'll see. Knicks suck. I mean, the Eastern Conference isn't great. At least they're improving. That's one thing I will say. At least Tom Thibodeau is improving because the Knicks have gone through so many coaches lately that at least they're improving. So I think that is a good sign for the Knicks. And Emmanuel Quickly looks good. I mean, Obi Toppin looks good. Austin Rivers, I mean, like he's had good moments. I mean, Julius Randle's having a good year. RJ Barrett's looking better. So, I mean, the Knicks are improving. I mean, I definitely think that's a step in the right direction because and now with the way things have been going for them, the only way it could go is up. The only problem is that for the Knicks is that, like, let's say they keep trying to win. If they do, they're not going to get a top 5 draft pick. And if they don't, they can't really get that franchise savior. They have a good young future. They do. But they just haven't really had those other guys, like a star that wants to come play for them. Do you think the Bucks will do it this year? I don't know. For some reason, like even though the Bucks have such a good roster on paper, they just don't really seem to do well in the postseason. And I just can't figure out why that is. Like Giannis is good, but the Bucks just don't do good in the postseason. So I just can't say no yet. Until the Bucks prove me otherwise, I can't pick them to win anything. So it's unfortunate because I do like Giannis a lot. He's my favorite basketball player. But I mean, it really stinks that the Bucks they'll have a crazy regular season, but they just don't go anywhere in the postseason. But anything else, guys? We still got 11 viewers. I guess I can tell who pretty much the 11 are. Best clubhouse player in baseball? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe Lindor is probably one of the better clubhouse guys, just off the top of my head. If Mets don't get Bauer, would you like to see Chris Bryant? Yes, I would be perfectly fine with Chris Bryant and Kyle Hendricks because at least the Mets would still be doing something for the rotation. That's the main thing is that, like, even though I've been saying, Bauer, people are tired of hearing about it, I just want something for the starting rotation. And if that's something great, if that's Kyle Hendricks, I'm okay with that. I'm excited for the opportunity to join the Blue Jays and one of the most exciting season games. I'm supposed to do parts. Okay, Steve, you're writing what Stephen Matz said. I'm excited for Matz. I really hope that Matz does well with Toronto. I want to see him do well. I feel like he needed the change of scenery, so I appreciate you copy and pasting what Matz had to say, Steve. Thank you very much for sharing that with everybody. That was very helpful. So thank you. Yeah. But no, listen, I think that was a good trade for both sides because the Blue Jays need more pitching. Again, Mets need more depth because I think that in a COVID season, 162-game season, like you're going to need more arms than normal. And usually the Mets never have enough arms, so it's good to see they got some more. I think he'll get a lot of run support. Yeah, I mean, it definitely would help having the Blue Jays offense right now. Call me crazy, but I think Syndergaard would be a great closer. It's possible. The one thing I don't like about Noah is that sometimes he gives up too many hits. Like Syndergaard, he has got to learn how to put hitters away. As good as his stuff is, Noah finds himself in too many 2-strike counts where he just doesn't put the guys away. So I really like to see Syndergaard do that. Will you be watching the Caribbean series? Probably not. I mean, I don't even know that was on, like when it's on. Let me know when it's on. Maybe I'll watch it. But yeah, I forgot who said, but if you're accustomed to losing, then your players follow. Talking about the Knicks. Yeah, it's like winning breeds winning, losing breeds losing. Yeah, I agree, John. I mean, that definitely could be the case with the Knicks. But eagles eyes, let me know what the Caribbean series is. Let me know what the appeal is about it. I mean, maybe I'll watch it. Like, I'm willing to give it a shot if that's something people would want me to watch. I mean, what better do I have to do? You know what I mean? So it doesn't really bother me if I don't watch the Caribbean series. Not really a big deal. The other thing I like to watch every now and then is the Islanders. I mean, other than that, I don't really watch hockey. The one hockey I will watch is the Islanders. But mostly I'll watch basketball. Obviously, the football playoffs. I'll be watching the Super Bowl. I'm actually another thing I'm excited for. One more thing. I'm excited to see the Royal Rumble on Sunday. I used to love wrestling when I was very, very little. Like before I loved the baseball, I used to love wrestling. But they have gotten rid of so many guys have gotten old to where they're not in wrestling anymore. But I'm excited to see the Rumble on Sunday. So I'm excited for the Rumble, then the Super Bowl next week. So a lot of good stuff coming. See what happens in the offseason with baseball. Obviously, basketball is going on. So there definitely is a lot of good stuff to talk about. So we could talk basketball, football, wrestling, baseball, Mets, whatever you guys want. What ethnicity are you? Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg? That's the match that really got me involved because Goldberg is one of like my guys from my era from when I watch. I am half Puerto Rican and half Italian. So that's my ethnicity. Who would you like to see as center fielder, JBJ, if he signs somewhere else? That is a good question. If the Mets didn't get like the Bryant or the Arenado or the Bauer, like if the Mets had a ton of money, I wouldn't mind seeing Buxton. I wouldn't mind seeing Kane. I wouldn't mind seeing Harrison Bader or Kevin Kiermaier, like Pilar, Almora. Like there's a lot of different ways I could go in center field, but I don't want to do anything for center field until I know exactly what goes on with the DH. Because like if I'm going to put Bader in the lineup or Kiermaier or Marisnik in the lineup, I can't do that if I have with the DH, because then I put Dom Smith on the bench and it'd just be a mess. Drew McIntyre is a big guy. Yeah, Drew McIntyre has been around for a while. And I mean, it's good to see that like he's a champ now. I don't think that Goldberg is going to win the title because when you have to defend it, I feel like Goldberg is just like a one-night kind of thing. So I think McIntyre is going to win that match. A Kane and Hater trade would be good. A Kane and Hater trade would be excellent, but Hater for Familia, I probably going to cost more than that because Hater would help out the bullpen a ton. He is so good. I would love to see Josh Hader. And I wanted the Mets to sign Lorenzo Cain when he was a free agent, and he got that deal in Milwaukee because he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. And he took the year off this year. He opted out, so Kane should still be pretty healthy. What's your favorite baseball movie? Mine is 42, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Oh, favorite baseball movie? That is a very good question. I liked – you know what movie I kind of liked? This is probably unpopular. I'm sorry. I liked Fever Pitch. Something about it, just the way that Jimmy Fallon was just like so obsessed. Sandlot's a good one. But the way Jimmy Fallon was just so into the Red Sox, the way it was like an obsession, how he was trying to make the relationship work with a girl, I can relate to that because, you know, with my girlfriend now, trying to work out, doing the YouTube videos and watching the Mets, it can be tough sometimes. Field of Dreams was good too. 42 was very good. Sandlot was very good. My favorite Met right now is Jeff McNeil because he has such like a competitive spirit and he is a guy that's just really good all around, old school player, puts bat on ball and things like that. But there's a lot of good baseball movies. I want to see some more of them because there are so many. I want to get to all of them. But that's something I have to consider. That's something I was doing a while ago. I was catching up on. Then I kind of stopped when sports came back. But now during this offseason, I really should try to get more baseball movies. I do want to try to do that. And maybe that's something we could talk about. Maybe like baseball movie reviews. I don't know. Maybe we'd see how that could do on the channel. I don't know how that would do. You know, we'll see. Because I want to do stuff that does well. Because like it stinks that – you know, some of these videos, especially the basketball videos I used to do, like if you guys are new to the channel, I used to do videos that were like 40 minutes to an hour, and it didn't get many views at all. So, you know, it's tough for me to put in like that much work if not a lot of people are going to watch it. Your views will be popping when the season starts. That would be nice, Steve. I hope so. Half Morica. Now you guys support your Caribbean Series team. They got Yachty this year. Is Yachty really going to play? Are there going to be Puerto Ricans in the Caribbean League? If that's true, I mean, I might check it out. Do you think that Luis Rojas is a long-term head coach? I don't know, man. I really don't. Hi, Skoratic. You're another guy that's been in the comments, so I want to thank you for the 1K. But I think Rojas, I'll give him one more year before I decide. I did not like what I saw in Luis Rojas' first year. I definitely think he could have been better with his decision-making. As far as in-game decision-making, I feel like he could have been a little harder on the umpires and just harder on the players in general. Thank you. Thank you. I just think that the Mets could definitely play better. And the fact that early in the season when the Mets were pressing and leaving runners on base and just, again, don't win the games they were supposed to, I feel like some of that has to fall on Rojas, that, like, you can't let that happen to your team. So I think that Rojas could definitely be better. I don't know if he's the long-term guy. I feel like they're willing to give him this year. If Ross doesn't get the job done, I would not be surprised if Sandy and Steve Cohen are looking to go another direction. But we have 8 people in now, so I feel like we'll probably end it there. If there are any other last questions, we could do that. If not, that would probably be it, since there's only a few of you guys left. Again, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for 1K. Let's get 1K more. Definitely not selling him. Yeah, I agree. I'm not selling him either, but we'll stop, I guess, at 9:45. That is like a fair stopping point for everybody. I really appreciate everybody that's been here for a while. We talked about a lot of good stuff. And I know there'll be the stream tomorrow. I'm going to try to see if I get the stream on my channel. Maybe I could like screen record it afterwards, after it's on Mets Fans Only channel. I'll try to get it on mine because I really would like for it to be on mine. It would help out my channel. Bring Terry Collins back. I don't know if Terry's really like looking to come back. I feel like since he's older in the front office now, he might not want to come back. Great stream. Take care. Thank you, Colby. If we fire Ross, should we bring back Beltran? I guess not, because I feel like no matter what, the media is going to be on Cohen. And they can be like, oh, you know, it's cheating. And they'll give him a tough time. You have to watch out for the Phillies. They might get Bauer. I don't think they will, because the Phillies early in the offseason, they were crying poverty. Then they did re-sign, what's this guy's name? They re-signed Realmuto. So once they re-signed JT Realmuto, I feel like they're not going to spend that much more. They got a guy with Mickey. I agree. Poverty Phillies. Yeah, I don't think the Phillies are going to get Bauer, Sal. I don't think that's really likely. If they got him, that would be a big problem for the Mets. I mean, I said can't let him go to the Dodgers. Definitely can't let him go to your division. That would be really bad. Really, really bad. All right, so I feel like that's it, guys. 9:45. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, myself, Mets Fans Only, iTalk Studios, Baseball Hut, Jolly Off, Tony Metro, all will have a stream. Looks like it's going to be on Mets Fans Only channel. Wish I can get on mine. I'll try to do some more research. It's either Mets or Dodgers. I agree. And we'll find out. I mean, like, if there's any news or anything like that, we'll have a video. Subscriber Saturday. Be on the lookout for that. So until the next stream or video and things like that, everyone be safe, be smart, be healthy. Let's go, Mets. Thank you so much for 1K. Let's get some more. Thank you, Steve. Take care. Bye, Sal. Bye, Colby. Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys.